Good evening, everyone. Before we get started, we have a special announcement from our district translator, Ms. Balbuena.
Oh, now it's working. Thank you. Thank you, President López. Buenas tardes, habla Paula Balbuena. Si necesita servicios de interpretación al español, por favor llame al 1805-324-7680 e ingrese el código de acceso 937-278-286 más la tecla numeral. Este es un número totalmente gratis. Nuevamente, llame al número de teléfono 1805-324-7680 e ingrese el código de acceso 937-278-286 más la tecla numeral. También puede acceder a estas instrucciones en nuestro sitio web mcs4kids.com dirigiéndose a la parte inferior de la pantalla en Quick Links y haciendo clic en Board Agendas para ir a la agenda de esta noche. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Balbuena. And good evening, everyone. Again, welcome to the Modesto City Schools 1476 regular board meeting of May 16th, 2022. This meeting is now called to order. In closed session, board gave direction to legal counsel. Can we all please stand for a moment of silence? Thank you very much. This open session meeting of the Board of Trustees is being live streamed at the direction of the board. The live stream is available on the district website, and the recordings will be available for viewing the day after the board meeting. Modesto City Schools board meetings has been adjusted to follow healthy and safety precautions until further notice. Regarding public comment, MCS has provided an opportunity for the public to provide comment. It is outlined on the agenda. The public has been given opportunity to call and leave a voicemail, send us a comment via email, or appear in person before the board. Any public comments received via email or voicemail prior to noon the day of the board meeting will not be read out loud, but has been transcribed and printed with copies provided to each board member prior to the start of the board meeting and are available to the public out in the back. The voices and email public comments will be attached to future board meeting minutes for approval. And this practice will continue until further notice. For members of the public that are interested in commenting in the future, we welcome your comments. And if you are here with us today and you wish to address the board during the period for public comment on a subject that is not on the agenda, we ask that you please fill out a public presentation request card that is found in the back and submit to the board president prior to the period for public comment. If you need translator assistance, please mention that on the card. And you can hand that card over to Ms. Antoinette out there in the back. And before the start of the public comment period, we have each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak for a total of 30 minutes. And now with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Noonan, which will introduce our pledger for the evening.
Yes, thank you so much, President Lopez. Unfortunately, we had 2 students from Wilson Elementary School who were scheduled to do the Pledge of Allegiance, but unfortunately, their schedules did not allow them to attend, so we had to do a last-minute change. But I'm super excited to welcome one of our employees' daughters who's going to do the pledge tonight. Audrey Inacio is in 3rd grade. She's 9 years old, and she's going to lead us in the pledge. So if everybody could join me in standing up, and let's take direction from Audrey.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, and we'll be moving on to A5. Superintendent Noguchi, welcome and announcement.
Good evening. Is this working? Yes. Good evening and welcome, everybody. It looks like it's a packed house. I apologize for not having enough chairs out there. We're going to work to move some of these tables out in the future and get some more chairs. So it's great to see everyone out here tonight. I have three things that I'd like to go over tonight. It's a little bit longer than usual. It is my distinct pleasure tonight to introduce two members to the MCS Leadership Team. I'd like to first start with Dr. Olson, who is going to be our newest Senior Director in the Curriculum, Instruction, and Professional Development Department. Dr. Olson comes to us by way of Ceres Unified, where she currently is a principal over at Whitmere Charter School. It's a K-8. She has worked in education for 20 years. She has served as a teacher, an instructional coach, a learning director, and a principal. Dr. Olson's dissertation, which I found to be very enticing, was on teachers' openness to instructional coaching, understanding that Modesto City Schools does a lot of work around instructional coaches, so I look forward to learning from her on how best to serve our teachers. I would also like to introduce Radhika Dinesh. Is she out there in the audience? There we go. Welcome. As she's the newest principal at Burbank Elementary. Ms. Dinesh is currently a vice principal at a K-8 in Lammersville. Ms. Dinesh joins Modesto City Schools with over 15 years of educational experience. She began her teaching career in 2003, teaching in elementary and middle school. Ms. Dinesh joins Modesto City with some unique educational experiences, serving as a school principal for families that were affected by leprosy in India, and she also is a teacher of classical Indian dance in her off hours. So we welcome her to the family. Welcome both to our leadership team. Secondly, I'd like to give a special recognition to all the teachers and all the people that put together the musical performances this last month. I literally have a page full of all the different performances. There's like 20 different performances. There's not a night that goes by that you couldn't become engaged with performances, either at an elementary, a middle, or a high school, but that really takes a lot of time and energy. So I want to thank folks who contributed to that. A special thanks to Brad Hart, a 912 musical chair, Katrina Van Waltrip at K-8 musical chair, and Brandon Price, our VAPA coordinator. Again, countless hours, Saturdays, evenings, all making it happen with hundreds of kids engaged in the arts. So I really thank you for your time on that. And lastly, I want to take just a few minutes to recognize our classified staff. This is the week to recognize and celebrate our classified staff. Tonight in the consent agenda, we do have a proclamation recognizing CSEA employees and really their important contributions to our organization. We have over 1,500 classified employees, and without them, we couldn't do what we do. They serve our students and support our students at the very beginning of the day in transportation, nutrition services, yard duties, class aids, facilities, technology, and much, much more. Without them, our system really could not function. And we saw that last year during COVID. If we didn't have our CSEA folks stepping up and doing what it took, we wouldn't have kept our schools open. So there's really a heartfelt thank you to all CSEA. So on behalf of myself and the Board of Education, thank you for all that you do. You are an absolute foundation to our district, and without you, we couldn't be the great district that we are. So thank you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to President Lopez.
Thank you very much, Dr. Noguchi. And now we'll be moving on to our board members' reports. Do I have any board members willing to speak? I'll start off with Trustee West.
Thank you. Is this working? It's been a busy couple of weeks. I went back through my calendar to see what I'd done between the last board meeting and this board meeting, and there were so many great things. I know some of my fellow board members are going to mention these as well. We had our EV bus event on April 19th, which was super exciting. Our CSBA Spring Trustee Dinner was on April 26th. We had our spring workshop on May 2nd, and then we did board policy updates on May 7th. We celebrated our 150th anniversary for Modesto City Schools on the 10th, and this boardroom was transformed. It was amazing. If anyone was able to get here, you saw all the great things we've done in the last 150 years. Several of us went to Hanshaw to look at the new science building, science classrooms, all the labs that they've done on the 12th. It's amazing what the students coming up in science are going to have from now on. I attended the strings concert at Fremont Elementary School. And then lastly, I want to do a special shout out to Mr. Martinez from Enox. He asked me to be on the panel of judges for his student work. They've done some projects all term, all semester, and so I was able to see some of these projects and give feedback and critique to the students. So impressive what those students did in their final projects. So thank you, Mr. Martinez, wherever you are, for allowing me to be a part of that.
Trustee Maestas?
Thank you. Just like Trustee West said, there were so many things over these last couple weeks. So I'll try to be brief on some of the other things because we all went to a lot of these things together. I also attended some concerts. I had the privilege of having my son in 2 concerts back to back, so one in a choral concert and then a band concert for the La Loma feeder schools, both which were at Mancini Bowl at Gracieta Park. And I have to tell you, that was by far the best experience, I think, for the kids, for the community. There were so many people, and they were cheering these kids on, and it was just got to make it happen there again. It was amazing. What a great venue for our community to have these concerts. So I loved every minute of those 2 concerts. What else? I attended the School Infrastructure Finance Agency meeting, so the CIFA and the MS CIFA meetings, and we discussed some of our CIFA business and bond issues that are coming up. I do have one thing. On July 13th, we're going to need an alternate because both myself and Irvin, Trustee Irvin, I was going to say your first name, Trustee Irvin are not going to be there, so we'll need an alternate for that. And then our next meeting is June 15th, so we'll have some cool stuff going on there. The 150-year celebration, I have to agree, it was pretty amazing to see this room transformed. I loved hearing from the alumni and just the experiences that they've had in our schools. So that was a great celebration, and I apologize if my kids broke it. No, they didn't break anything, I swear. But one of them knocked something over. I'm not saying who. And then the ribbon cutting at Hanshaw, one of the things the most impressive is all of the forethought going into having kids collaborate and learn science and talk to each other with the whiteboards all over, and just the facilities. Gosh, I wish I had some facilities like that when I was in junior high myself. Lastly, I want to say I'm excited for the promotion and graduation ceremonies coming up next week, and I want to congratulate all those students that took AP exams or IBs over the last few weeks. You've spent all this time preparing for that, and I just want to congratulate you for all of that work that you've done. AP is close to my heart, so I just wanted to say that for those students. That's it.
Thank you very much. Trustee Irvin?
Yes, busy last couple of weeks. Again, I was at the EV groundbreaking ceremony for those 30 buses that we're going to put on the road to decrease our carbon footprint in our community. The largest order of buses in the country of any single district has purchased electric buses. So we need to be proud of that. If everybody give our district a hand for purchasing of 30 buses. 30 electric buses. testament to our staff and our board of putting this together. Our staff did an excellent job in the negotiations and everything that went into us getting this, this huge benefit to our community, our students and our staff here. So I just wanted to point that out. Also, I went to the Parents Leading Change meeting they had as well, which they were discussing a survey or a personal emotional growth survey that they were being administered by one of our mental health organizations in our area. Also, went to the Hanshaw groundbreaking ceremony of the science lab, and it's very special and dear to my heart as someone who worked on that campus for 5 years. Also, my son went to Hanshaw, and he now appreciates the upgrades in the science, given that he's an engineer. So, and he went to Hanshaw Middle School. So we put out some really good students out at Hanshaw, just like our president. Also, was at the CIFA board meeting as well with Trustee Maestras, and also the Tournament of Talent. The Tournament of Talent held at Downey High School. Man, great attendance, great talent. Very, very impressed at the talent we have within our district. So it's nice to be present at the Tournament of Talent. And yeah, we're moving and grooving. The only way we can go from here is up. So let's keep on keeping on. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Irvin. Trustee Mejia?
It seems like we're going to be covering the events, so I'm going to skip some of the events that my fellow board members kind of already spoke about. But I wanted to just highlight, I was participating in Override. They had like a bike or walk to school with lots of community stakeholders. So we walked, seemed like a long time, a quarter of a mile, so I could really understand the kids' struggle on that front. So it was a great event. I was able to walk with families, with kids and bikes. It was just an amazing all event. And then when they got to school, they got to get some snacks, some food and some stuff. So it was a great event. So I also participated in the Cinco de Mayo parade. I was able to see a lot of our kids out there parading, going. We saw some folkloric groups from one of our schools. It was just an amazing parade that happened down on Crow's Landing. So that was great. I also was honored and privileged to participate in the career day at Twain. So I was there. It was pretty fascinating. And then I also found some old friends that also participated in the career day. So it was an incredible event, and also spend some time speaking to teachers and parents that can follow up with me in individual conversations. And of course, participate in other events that I think our board members already shared. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Marks?
Yes, thank you. And so I'll just mention a few. I know we have seen each other a lot this month. I remember when I was first elected, I didn't realize how many events we'd be going to the first month of the school year and the last month. And I remember telling a fellow newly elected trustee that we just have to tell our husbands we are not going to be home for dinner for most of the month, the last month of school, because there's so many things to go to. So we love going to them and visiting with all of you. One of the things we did, I liked the trustee dinner. I just like making connections. We hadn't been able to meet, and all the school trustees from around the county, we didn't meet for the last 2 years, so it was really great to see them again. And then and hear about the Teachers of the Year from last year. They weren't, because we didn't get to go. So we got to hear the Teachers of the Year from 2021, so that was kind of fun. And hopefully, we'll get to hear about the ones from 2022 shortly. Then I also attended the Parents Leading Change with Trustee Irvin. That was really great to hear the talk about mental health and the need and for parents to be able to hear how they could help their students and some resources that are available in our county. And then I attended the California Large Suburban District Board of Directors meeting. And one thing that was really stood out to me was, excuse me, Assemblymember O'Donnell, who won't be coming back next year as the Assembly member, but he talked about allergy time of the year. but that isn't what he talked about. Excuse me. Raising the base funding. So I thought that was really awesome that he wanted to do that so that we wouldn't have to do a bond for our facilities, and he wanted to see if that would help for our facilities. And so I'm looking forward to finding out if they'll be able to do it. He suggested $10 billion, which now we found out that might be something that could happen. So we'll see in the future if that's going to be something that will help us. And lastly, I want to thank Trustee Irvin for coming to the National Day of Prayer and doing the prayer for military at the National Day of Prayer last week on May 5th, which was Cinco de Mayo, but they always do it on May 5th. So we had a meeting at the flagpole, and Mayor was there, and a lot of council members and pastors, and it was just a really neat time together. So I thank him for doing that. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice President Brown?
So month of May, we could just go on and on and on about things that we've done, and I've been to a lot of the events that have been mentioned, but I do want to highlight a couple. Several trustees have mentioned the Association of School Boards for Stanislaus County dinner that we had, and I want to acknowledge my board. We were the best represented board from the entire county, and it shows the unity that we have as a board. Now, you hear our board talk about all these spectacular events and celebrations that we have. In almost every case, we're all there. There are a few exceptions where we can't all get there, but your board supports great things that are happening in Modesto City Schools, and I want to thank my fellow board members for continuing that great support for our district and the great things that are happening. I just want to say at Hanshaw, when we were there for the science classrooms, Trustee West and I decided that we wanted to be in those classrooms when school starts in the fall. We want to see the students' excitement that we felt in those rooms with the great opportunities for learning that will happen in those spaces. Those rooms were just screaming, "Teach me, teach me, teach me." And the kids are going to experience that, and we're going to be able to bring that to every one of the science classrooms in our entire district. So Hanshaw was just the beginning, and it was a great time to be together with the board. I serve as the district representative to the County School Boards Association, and just want to tell everyone how exciting it is to kind of brag on our district and the great things that are happening. It's so positive to see things that are growing, things that are happening. You know, we have tools as board members. This year we have hard hats, we have shovels, and we have scissors, because we're doing groundbreakings every other month, and we're also doing ribbon cuttings, and we're celebrating all the great things that we're able to bring to our schools and improvements that have been made possible because of bond money that the citizens of our community have entrusted us with. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Trustee Mesa, you had a quick addition?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention one more thing that I totally forgot about. I was able to attend a professional learning on the new California mathematics framework that will be coming through soon here by two of the lead writers, presented by the County Office of Education on Saturday. So I learned a ton about what we're expecting to see here, and so I'll be happy to share that information as soon as we have a chance to talk about that. But it's another thing that's coming down the pipe that I think is going to be great for kids.
Thanks. And for my report, I want to echo what Trustee Brown was saying. The work that all of our staff members and all of our board members have done over the last years are the reason why we're busy, right? Because of the great work that everyone has put forward. And right now, we get to do the easy, fun stuff of cutting ribbons, digging dirt, but it's really a long work that was started years ago. So thank you to everyone that had something to do with it, and it won't be the last of it, we know we have great things coming. So we're doing the good work, and we're also doing the fun work. So I appreciate everyone for that. I was at some of the events already mentioned. I do want to highlight that I was able to be a judge at the Tournament of Talents, which that was such amazing to see the talent that's throughout our school district, from singing, from playing piano, guitar, dancing. It was a great representation of our district, so very happy to see that. I was also a part of the interviewing process for our new student board representative, which we'll talk a little bit about that later. But I did want to also highlight an event that's coming up. As a couple individuals mentioned before, Hanshaw just, we were out there for the ribbon cutting of the science labs. But along with our 150-year celebration, Hanshaw celebrating the 30-year anniversary of their founding. And so this upcoming Saturday, May 21st, from 10 to 1, they'll be doing a celebration out there for everyone, especially those students that, were lucky enough to be a part of the history or the last 30 years. So for those that are, we welcome everyone to join and celebrate with us. And that is my report. Thank you very much. And now to continue the fun and exciting part of our board meeting, it's our recognitions with trustee, there's an idea.
I'm a trustee now.
Ms. Noonan.
Thank you so much, President Lopez. I'm echoing, so I'm going to try to move this away. Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see everybody. It's always nice when we have a full house for our recognitions. My name's Kristen Noonan. I'm the Chief Communications Officer, and so it's my pleasure tonight to do the recognitions. We do have a very full recognitions agenda tonight, so just bear with me as we go through this special time to honor those around us. So first up, we will celebrate a student with outstanding character, and this is through our Character Education Recognition Program. Tonight, we are celebrating fourth grader Annabelle Hang from Garrison Elementary for the Character Trait Initiative. Annabelle was nominated by her teacher, Bobby Young, but Bobby could not be here tonight, so we have Garrison Principal Nancy Matthews here to read her nomination. So Nancy, I'll invite you up to the podium, and you may need to check to see if the microphone is on, and if it's not, you just switch it on.
I think it's on.
I am going to be inviting Trustee Irvin and Dr. Noguchi for the photo, so if you want to get ready to come down to take a photo with Annabelle, that would be great. Go ahead, Principal Matthews.
Well, thank you for being here. It's nice to see you all, and I want to honor Annabelle Hang. This is Bobby Young, her teacher. She didn't want to talk, but usually she does.
And then they set me up here.
And then we sent you up here. I'm going to read her nomination for Annabelle. Annabelle is an enthusiastic learner who has shown an amazing commitment to learning. She's a thinker and communicates her ideas and knowledge to the class. Annabelle has excellent grades and always completes her work on time, if not before. She goes above and beyond normal schoolwork by writing reports at home on her favorite subjects, taking additional notes in class, and coming to school early to attend the computer coding class. She also ran for student council president and won, which showed a lot of initiative. Annabelle can be counted on to help her fellow classmates with their work and explain it in a way that makes it easy for them to understand. Annabelle doesn't wait for things to happen. She makes things happen in a positive way every single day, and she is a wonderful role model here at Garrison.
Excellent. Congratulations, Annabelle. Let's give her one more hand of All right, next up we have our MCS Hero recognition, and our hero tonight is Alexander Klatt. Alexander is a medical procedures specialist with Student Support Services. He was nominated by Senior Director Danielle Hinkle, who is here tonight to share her nomination.
All right. I feel like I should turn around and face the audience, so I will. Good evening, everybody. Alexander is a medical procedures specialist and a licensed registered nurse. And prior to the pandemic, in that position, Alex would perform medical procedures for students with special needs so that they could access their education. And that all by itself would be worthy of an MCS Hero Award. However, in the last, going on 3 years now, Alex has served as the district's lead contact tracer during the COVID-19 pandemic. He is a pivotal member of the health services team. He has provided training to other contact tracing staff to manage literally thousands of COVID-19 reportable forms. Alex and the health services staff made countless phone calls to employees in support of contact tracing. He has worked with site and district supervisors to determine return to work dates for employees. Alex regularly attended the public health meetings to help keep apprised of the never-changing COVID landscape, as well as varying OSHA requirements for employees, et cetera. He worked additional hours, and let me say countless additional hours in the evening and weekends, all with a very calm demeanor and a smile on his face. We would not have been able to manage this monumental task of district contact tracing without Alex. Alex, thank you so much for being an MCS hero, and congratulations.
Alex, we'll take a photo. Excellent. Congratulations, Alex. All right. Next up, we have the first of our special recognitions tonight. We are celebrating our foster youth volunteers, Tanya Poe and Jeannie Moore. The month of May is Foster Care Awareness Month, and the Board of Education and Superintendent would like to recognize two amazing volunteers with Modesto City Schools as District Surrogate MCS Heroes. MCS Foster Youth Specialist Stephanie Arona is here tonight to read her nomination, and I will be inviting Trustee Marks and Dr. Noguchi for the photo with both of these wonderful volunteers that we have. So, Ms. Arona, would you like to come up?
Hello. It's really great to be here, and it's great to celebrate Modesto City Schools. I wanted to celebrate the fact that May is Foster Youth Awareness. I am the Foster Youth Specialist for Modesto City Schools, and I'm very proud to be that person. What a perfect way to recognize two amazing volunteers for Modesto City Schools as our district surrogates. This is volunteer, it's not a paid job, it's some people that come out and support us in meetings, as well as supporting our students that unfortunately do not have any type of education representation. Tanya Poe, I met 5 years ago in a training. Tanya, okay. And Tanya's daughter drove from Emeryville. Emeryville?
Is she in Emeryville?
Did you come from Emeryville? So Tanya's daughter drove here tonight to see her mom being recognized. So thank you for coming. And Tanya met 5 years ago at a training, and she embraced this opportunity, and she's been with me for 5 years, and I can't imagine not having you by my side in this process. So thank you. Thank you. We have Jeannie Moore. Jeannie Moore and I go back almost 22 years. Jeannie Moore taught at Insuland. She retired when I stepped into as the foster youth specialist. And with that being said, we were looking for district surrogates. And when we left Insuland a while back, I thought of Jeannie instantly. So she's taught both my boys, Ryan and Keith, and they are also products of Modesto City Schools. I'm very proud of them as well. Our students in foster care are appointed a district surrogate when no adult known to the student is available. District surrogates make educational decisions based on the student's needs and best interests that align with our foster youth education rights. Tanya and Jeannie volunteer their time by attending meetings, asking critical questions, actively listening, providing love and understanding, and offering a continuous support to our students and to the Modesto City Schools. They make this world, our district, a better place. And just to leave with a quote that I think really represents both of them, Jeannie and Tanya, is the heart of a volunteer is never measured in size, but by the depth of commitment to make a difference in the lives of others. So I truly appreciate you and you. So thank you. So.
And Tanya's daughter, if you'd like to come up and take photos too, you're welcome to. Yeah, feel free to come on up and take photos. That's awesome. Congratulations. All right, tonight I'm super excited about the next item. We are celebrating a very exciting milestone for the Davis High School athletics program. Through initiative and perseverance, which are two of our 9 MCS character traits, came the inception of the first boys volleyball program at Davis High School. There was even an article in the Modesto Bee if you didn't see that. So it's a really exciting time. We have Principal Michael Schroyer here who's going to share more. And just to give the students, if you could do me a favor, just super quick, any of the students who are part of the boys volleyball program, could you come up and line up here? You're going to be going outside this door after Principal Schroyer recognizes you. And then my assistant, Julie, will take your photo, but just hang out there for a little bit as we get through the rest of the recognitions. So I invite Principal Schroyer to come up and give us a little bit more background.
Well, it's exciting to be here, and I'm very proud of each of you, our student athletes, for getting this going. Volleyball began at Davis when a few student leaders, specifically Rylan Lee, Noah Castro, Avion Cow, and Yal Rodriguez, saw that there was enough interest in getting a competitive boys volleyball team started. They spoke to district officials and the MCS School Board and received the support needed to start our very first MCS boys volleyball program at Davis High School for this school year. The team finished in 4th place, 1 spot out of playoffs. They finished with 6 wins and 13 losses overall, and also 4 wins and 11 losses in our league. Mr. Ronaldo Rucker Jr. supported the students' endeavor, and many others played a pivotal role in the process, including our athletic director, Timmy Garcia, trustee John Irving, Dr. Will Nelson, Ms. Fallon Ferris, coaches Christina Johnson, and former MCS student Molly Fonda. Also offering support were teachers Mrs. Bauer, Ms. Van Horn, Mrs. Pontes, and Ms. Satnat, who were instrumental throughout our entire season. Congratulations to the students for their tenacity and relentlessness to become the first MCS boys volleyball program. Good job.
Excellent. Congratulations. That is such an amazing accomplishment. And they are going to go outside and Principal Schroyer is going to hand them. We made them all certificates, and then they're going to hang out, and then Ms. Inacio will come out and take photos. Great. How exciting. All right. Well, guess what? The final recognition is even more exciting. It's already been an exciting night. But as I've presented at previous board meetings, this year we've been celebrating our 150th anniversary of Modesto City Schools. Part of our celebration activities over the past year also involved an education component. In addition to what some of the trustees spoke about, we had an open house event, we've done videos, we've tried to do as much as we can to really commemorate, because 150 years, that's a huge accomplishment. So a team led by Mike Rich in our Curriculum Instruction and Professional Development Department reached out to art teachers district-wide to provide them with materials for students to honor the 150th anniversary through a special contest to encourage participation as well as to educate students on this important milestone. We received hundreds and hundreds of beautiful pieces of artwork from very talented students. And let me tell you, like I can barely draw a stick figure, and these kids, they are amazing artists. So I want to commend all of the students district-wide who submitted items and really had fun with this project. The art ranged from hand drawings, they were sculptures, there were digital designs, and a lot more. So a panel of judges reviewed the submissions from 20 finalists that spanned our elementary, junior high, and middle schools, and then our high schools as well. We've actually put together a video that showcases all of the 20 finalists' artwork, and that'll be going up on social media as well as playing before the next board meeting as well, so you can just see the array of all the artwork that was submitted. So out of the numerous submissions, we have 4 students who are being recognized as the winners of the 150th anniversary art contest, as well as for the character trait of initiative for their hard work creating and submitting personalized art to showcase the 150-year history at Modesto City Schools. So what I'm going to be doing, I want Dr. Noguchi and then President Lopez, if you could come down to the awards podium area. I'm going to be announcing the 4 students. We have 3 of our students who are here tonight, and 1 student couldn't be here, but her dad is here to accept the award on her behalf. So let's start out with it was our TK through 3rd grade category, and we have Yetska Hill from Martone Elementary School. This is for Yetska. It's very heavy. And Yetska also gets, actually each winner also gets an awesome, super heavy bag of art supplies. Yes, there you go. There you go. Yeah, you want to be in the photo too? There you go. There you go. Principal Oberkemper, do you want to take a photo standing up of your student? Yeah. Let's get Principal Oberkemper in the photo too. All right. Congratulations, Yetska. All right. And next up, our winner in the grade 4 through 6th category is Suzanne Arnold. She's in 6th grade from Enslin Elementary School. Congratulations, Suzanne. And Suzanne couldn't be here tonight, but her dad, Joe, is here to accept the award and the art supplies on her behalf. I'll tell you when. All right. Congratulations, Suzanne. The next student that we have is Michelle Llorenes. She is in 7th grade. She is the winner of the 7th through 8th grade category. She's from Mark Twain Junior High School. So Michelle, you come on up. Congratulations. Principal Lombardo, you can come up as well for the photo. Oh. Big smile. Right here. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations. And last but certainly not least, we have for our 9 through 12 category, we have David Saldana, 11th grade from Johansson High School. David? All right, congratulations. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but all of the pieces of the artwork of the 4 winners is displayed right here behind Trustee Maestas and Dr. Noguchi. As you can see, it's very, very stunning and just absolutely, I'm amazed by their talent. So congratulations to them and congratulations to all the students who participated. So let's give one last hurrah. And that concludes tonight's recognition. So if you were here for that portion, you're welcome to make your way out if you'd like, or you can stay for the meeting, whatever you'd like.
I'll put a plug in for us, but you guys should stay around, but we understand if you don't.
Hey, Brad.
While we get things situated, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be back at 6:53. Thank you very much, everyone. I'd just like to say that I love seeing the families come up and take the pictures. That was amazing. And so now we'll be moving on to A8, approval of consent agenda. And I do have a request to pull two items, D5 and C7. So we will go ahead and vote on D5 first with, and
Yeah, I need to step aside because I'm on the Board of Directors for the Boys and Girls Club for this event, or this item.
And what was the other item? C7.
I don't know, yeah.
Urban. Okay,
And then don't we have a edit on D3, on the high school course outline, history, social science? Do you have an edit on that one, D3?
yes, I have an edit. Instead of history, social science, they need to say elective. It's an elective
Yes.
course and not history, social science. So let's pull D3 and put it up into discussion for a later time. And then D5, since trustee Brown is out of the room, we can then vote on the rest of the consent item. And then we can vote on
Vote on
just
that
that
one, yeah.
one and then bring him back and vote on the rest.
yeah. So at this point, do I hear a motion to approve D5?
I move approval.
Motion then by trustee Marks, seconded by trustee Mejia. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Vice President Brown, you can come back on in. And so trustee Irvin, your reasonings for pulling out C7?
I want to get clarity on the concerns that was raised on the contract by the organization that sent us the email. I talked to Mr. Jesse Jimenez about his concerns about the contractor being out of compliance with several items, and just wanted to get some clarity based on the bid specs, the workforce development, and formal apprenticeship programs compliance, and the letter from the California Apprenticeship Council saying the contractor is not in compliance, has not been for the last 4 years, and how that impacts the contract.
Mr. Zerly, the contract that he's speaking about, I don't believe that is D7. That's a transportation for SELPA
C7.
services?
C7.
Oh,
C7.
C7. Okay, thank you. So President Lopez, I would encourage us to put C7 now as B9, and we can have that conversation at the end of the discussion.
Yes, I was just going to mention that if the question would take a little bit of time to research, we can pull it into our main agenda. So do I hear a motion to move C7 into our main agenda as B9? Motion by trustee West, seconded by trustee Irwin. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously, so C7 is now B9. And seeing no other, then D3 will be tabled for another board meeting?
No, I just need to make the edit. It's just, everything is correct
Okay.
with what is identified in the other course outline. It's just the word history, social science needs to change to electives, but everything else is accurate.
Okay, so we
So
can,
it should be fine. You can still vote on it.
you can still vote. Okay, so with all that being said, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda with the additions added?
I'll move approval, but I just want to make a comment just for the public to know. There's some great things on our consent agenda tonight. We have SWAN math that we're doing. We're approving some curriculum for numerous curriculum items. We are approving the one that we're going to change the title to is a course outline for, that's an elective that is called Examining Culture and Diversity Through Literature. And we're voting on the second reading of a whole bunch of new policies, which are the rules that we govern ourselves by. And one of them is a board policy on equity. So we have some great things in our agenda tonight, and I circled a few of them and just said, wow, these are so awesome. I wish the public knew about them. And so I had a chance to just say it. So I made that motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you very much, Trustee Marks. So I have a motion by Trustee Marks, seconded by Trustee Mejia. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. And now we'll move on to A9, approval of order and discussion action. So we've added, again, C7 as a new B9. So do I hear approval of the order of discussion? Motion by Trustee Maesta, seconded by Vice President Brown. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, agenda is set. This takes us to the period for public comment presentation. Thank you for attending tonight's meeting and showing your interest in our schools. I have 4 cards. Oh, okay. I have 2 cards, so I'm gonna call the first individuals, Coach Marie McDonald.
Each of the people want to speak, each one wants to talk.
Hello? Okay. We are the Modesto High School speech and debate students who will represent the Big Valley and Yosemite Forensic League at the National Speech and Debate Association Championships this June in Louisville, Kentucky. There were 34 spots in a number of events for our area, and 11 of the qualifiers are from Modesto High. We don't give you this information to brag about our accomplishments, but to share them with you. The administration of Modesto High School, the superintendent, and the Office of Educational Services, along with you, the school board members, have shown us that you value our academic endeavors through your continued support of so many academic activities. We know of other local districts cutting courses and activities that support co-curricular events, while Modesto City Schools are supportive of our efforts. Besides schools and sports, our speech team members are also involved in things like music, mock trial, academic decathlon, science Olympiad, and the list goes on. Speech and debate has allowed us to develop critical skills in the areas of research, writing, speaking, and active listening. Engaging regularly in civil discourse, we are able to speak confidently on a variety of subjects while listening respectfully to opposing viewpoints. Most importantly, speech and debate has allowed each of us to find and add our voice to the world. We want to thank each of you for providing and supporting these academic programs that so enhance our educational experiences at Modesto High School. This certificate is just a representation of the appreciation that we have for Modesto City Schools and the Board of Education. Thank you.
Aw.
Thank you very much. As that is happening, I'm gonna move on to our next speakers. So I want to remind folks that each speaker has 3 minutes to speak for a total time of 30 minutes. So I have 9 other speakers on one item.
Thank you, that's
And
sweet.
the first speaker is Elabeth Ambrosio.
Let me see.
Yay, good job.
There it is.
They'll have one for you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, board members and superintendent. My name is Elibet Ambrosio, and I'm a math teacher at Johansen High School. I'm here today to ask you for help. Our administration at Johansen High School has decided that they will not be offering AP Calculus next year at our school, not at least in an equitable way. Their first option was to transport the 12 students that have committed to calculus next year to a different school. Now they are looking into televising, live streaming calculus for them. Johansen students are some of the most socioeconomically disadvantaged students in our district, but they are not intellectually disadvantaged. These students are worthy of the same education as any other student in the district. They need in-person instruction and support. As an educational entity, we cannot deprive these students from their potential academic achievements simply because the numbers are too low. The students that take AP Calculus in high school possess some of the most brilliant minds. These are some of the students that bring change to our community and teach a new generation of students to continue even if the numbers are not so good. Not only are these students losing the connection to their home school, but other Johansen students are losing the vision of what very high achieving students look like. Why hinder and prevent change to a community that could potentially thrive with AP Calculus? I'm here today because I could not sit back and watch what Johansen wants to do with our most gifted students. The belief that holding small classes in our schools is not cost-effective shall not be the reason of why we rob these students of a top-notch education. For this and many other reasons, I am willing to teach these AP Calculus students during my prep period pro bono. Let us sit with the superintendent so we can continue to keep AP Calculus at Johansen High School. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker I have is Alexia Richmond.
Hello?
Hello.
All right. Oh, goodness. So what I want to share with you today is the lessons that I've learned from AP Calculus and what you're taking away from future students. Right now, AP Calculus has been the hardest class I've ever taken in my entire life. And while that may not be an appealing factor, I feel that it is important to have a challenging class for the students who need it. Right now, I see 11 gifted students willing to take the class next year, willing to challenge themselves for a subject that interests them, but that is being taken away from them next year. This year, I've learned that it takes hard work to understand a subject to its completion. And Ms. Ambrosio has showed me how, goodness. Oh, thank you. I've learned what it means to study, and I've learned what it means to do hard work genuinely versus my other AP classes, which have never challenged me so. I find the subject fully engaging, and while I am a math person, and since I am a math person, I would like this class to be continued for every math student potentially out there at Johansen. Taking this class away means that you're taking a chance and an opportunity that some students have given this class. Not every student is able to switch districts to take a class or is able to learn from a TV as you are suggesting. Transportation is an issue, and right now, the best way I see it to be solved is to provide a class that you are missing. thank you for bearing through this with me.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Our next speaker is Shasta Nell.
Good evening. I am a parent of a student at Johansen High School who would like to take calculus next year. As a student, she has prepared since junior high for high school. And looking at the new curriculum or pathways framework for mathematics, students like her now and in the future are going to be limited as these upper level classes are being taken away. If our junior high students are high achieving in mathematics, they will complete what is required of them in their first year at high school. So taking away a higher level math deters them from going on to a university level college. Without it, they will be less than their peers, and we know that getting into college is competitive. So they need these classes to show their talents, their abilities, so that way they can continue on in their STEM and other, education choices in college. I looked at the framework and it said that classes such as calculus are up to the school district to decide if they are going to offer them. If we are offering them at the other high schools, there's no reason to not offer it at Johansen. Our kids in our community there are just as valued as any other school within our district. And busing with our limited times during the day is not an option. We've already been through virtual learning, and we have seen how that has impacted our youth from kindergarten on up. They need in-person instruction, and they have somebody who is willing to do that for them. And yes, it is a few, but we're always going to have a few that are excelling. And we do need these students to be examples for their little brothers and sisters, for their peers, so that way others want to achieve high too. Otherwise, there will be no point in our junior high school students or middle school to make any achievement in mathematics because they won't be able to continue in high school. So please take some time and think about our Johansen High School really excelling academic students and their futures, because this will have an impact on them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Josefina Gueda.
Buenas tardes, yo soy Josefina Ojeda, soy mamá de una niña de la Johansen. Ella está en cálculos. Al igual que ella, hay otros niños más que les interesa seguir estudiando este programa. Yo vengo aquí a pedirles que por favor no se lo retiren. Es un apoyo muy grande para todos los niños. Ellos están apenas formándose en lo que va a ser su futuro. Y si les quitamos la posibilidad ahorita de tomar este programa, pienso yo que se les va a hacer más difícil ya entrando a un colegio o a una universidad sin tomar antes esta oportunidad que ahorita tienen. Si se les retira a estos adolescentes esta oportunidad, ¿qué futuro van a tener si no tienen las raíces? Si no tienen una buena raíz, ¿cómo van a dar un buen futuro, un buen fruto? Y lo que estamos intentando todos los padres de familia de aquí de la Johansen es que no nos quiten ese apoyo, es que los queremos ver triunfar a nuestros hijos, es que queremos salir adelante con ellos, que lleguen a hacer su sueño realidad. Y si les cortamos ahorita una pequeña rama o una raíz no bien fundada, no van a llegar a nada. Y lo que queremos son adolescentes y futuros, ¿cómo les quiero decir? Profesionales, con bases, con buenas raíces. Y a lo mejor un día estén aquí estos niños sentados al igual que ahorita ustedes. Tienen un sueño estos niños. Y a mí me gustaría que ustedes apoyaran ese sueño de todos estos adolescentes, que son nuestro futuro. Por ellos vamos a crecer. Porque si no los apoyamos, no vamos a ninguna parte. Y la Johansen tiene muy buenos estudiantes. Excelentes niños son todos. Y a mí me gustaría, mi sueño es que mi hija sea graduada con todas las posibilidades que las escuelas les puedan dar. Y creo que este distrito está muy grande y tiene todas esas alternativas que les puede ofrecer a los niños. Y pues ténganlo en consideración. Por favor, no les retiren esta posibilidad a los niños. Ellos la necesitan. Gracias por escucharme.
Muchas gracias. Our next speaker is Andrew Schultz.
Hello, my name is Andrew Schultz. I was recently awarded a full-ride NROTC scholarship to University of South Florida. It is my belief that without AP Calculus, I would not have been competitive enough for this highly selective scholarship. By taking away students' access to in-person AP Calculus, the best, brightest, and most hardworking students are being robbed of reaching their full potential, leaving them less competitive for good colleges and financial aid. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker, Isael Navarro.
Thank you, and welcome to hear me about in regards to AP Calculus. I feel that we are being robbed in not taking this class. It offers diversity and it looks good on our transcripts. I feel that those who our options are statistic at this point. Our options are statistics and finite, and to me, those classes do not intrigue me. I feel that calculus is a class that I want to pursue and I want to take for next year and want to continue doing that for senior year. I also believe it looks good in transcripts. As Andrew has said, he has gotten a scholarship at the University of South Florida, and calculus is known to have a difficult background, and I feel that it is needed so that you can stay competitive against other colleges. And I also want to add on to the fact that it needs to be in person and not virtually learning, because you've seen the impact from virtual learning last year. Many students can vouch for me on this subject that it's difficult to learn online, and it's better to be learned in person. And I wish that the principal reconsiders his decision, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. David Perez.
Hello, everyone. My name is David Perez, and I graduated from Johansen High School in 2018. And as of 2 days ago, I graduated from UC Berkeley with a degree in integrative biology.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. Go Bears, yeah. So I want to share some demographics of our school, just to give a little bit of context on the issue. I looked at Johansen High School's latest school report, which found that nearly 80% of its student body is coming from a low socioeconomic background. These are students who are the first in the families to pursue a college education. These are students like me, who are exploring this the university system for the very first time. And because of this, these are students who need the support, every support and resource available to them, including taking AP Calculus at their home, at their high school, and in person, in order to do well in the pursuit of higher education. I can personally talk about this because I took biocalculus as soon as on my first semester at UC Berkeley. And during my time there, little did I know that I would spend every single day of my first year at UC Berkeley at the SLC, which is our university's building that offers tutoring services for students that need extra support. I kept thinking to myself in my long study sessions, how are students who have never taken calculus even doing this? Or how are students who had a poor calculus experience even managing to get by in this class? And I had a friend who actually ended up dropping out because he he just felt unprepared and discouraged for taking AP Calculus in high school and decided he couldn't pursue his dream of becoming a doctor. So this is what makes me a little bit fearful if we choose to not support keeping AP Calculus. Students may feel discouraged because of extra obstacles of having to bus to another school, maybe missing classes, and that will just decrease their overall quality of an education. Secondly, if the pandemic has taught us anything, it's that online schooling is not the solution. Students are more burnt out than ever, and that simply is not a feasible answer to this problem. And then I just want to say that, as I move forward in my education, I want to leave on a question. How can we expect our students to do well in college if we're undercutting the programs that make them prepared before they even get there? And as I move forward in my education, I will be pursuing a fellowship at Cornell University, where I'll be doing clinical research. And I know that this wouldn't have been a possibility for me if I hadn't even considered taking a STEM career and been challenged to pursue a STEM career at Johansen High School. I'm a product of a Johansen High School that offers AP Calculus through Ms. Ambrosio's classroom, and I know future students will be too if you give them a chance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Jarrell Yalo.
Good evening, everyone. Johansen is a Title I school serving historically underserved communities with its predominantly minority and socioeconomically disadvantaged student body. To decimate AP courses such as AP Calculus only deprives capable and motivated students like us who value our education. Learning calculus is already rigorous enough. However, the lack of a strong teacher-student relationship, given the nature of televised courses, only widens that opportunity gap within our education for students like us. Even though we possess the same capabilities as students who have the privilege of an on-site calculus instructor, the decision to remove AP Calculus from Johansen is inequitable, since other high schools in the district can provide an on-site instructor to instruct a college-level math course, yet we would be unable to with this decision to remove AP Calculus. Given that a single AP exam is the sole metric for whether or not we complete the class and receive college credit, cultivating a strong relationship with your instructor is only more vital, especially to adverse the COVID-19 roadblocks within our education. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. I have another speaker. I don't want to butcher the name, but last name Haragi.
Hello. I wanted to voice my concern on what the
First
possible.
of all, can we have you say your name?
Oh, sorry. Xavier Haudegi. I wanted to voice my concern on the alternative televised AP Calculus class. Having done distance learning for a year, I realized it was really hard to really grasp the concepts. Like, for example, I took AP Human Geography, and it was much harder than it should have been to understand. And taking calculus, a much harder class, would honestly be almost impossible. And I don't think it's fair, since we have an amazing teacher here to teach calculus, who's been teaching calculus for years, and just taking away that access to learning this class. Personally, I came to Johansson for the data pathway and what they're offering there, but unfortunately that was taken away. And it didn't even occur to me that calculus, I thought it was like a general course that was offered to all high schools, would be like altered to where you couldn't really understand it to its fullest. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, that was our last speaker for the night. So I want to say, even though we cannot engage with the discussions or take formal action on the items that are not on the agenda, I do appreciate you following the protocols and addressing the board and taking time to share your views with us. We really appreciate them. Thank you. And this takes us to our B1, Student Representative to the Board report. And I will first take it to Ms. Noonan.
Yes, thank you so much, President Lopez. So I am both happy and my heartstrings are being pulled to say that tonight is Student Representative Rana Bananca's final board meeting with us before she departs on her college adventure to Stanford. So what I'd like to do is we're going to take some special time tonight to have each of the board members say some special words about Ms. Bananca, and then she will do the same, and she will also help us in welcoming our new student board representative who is here with us as well. So I'll turn it back to Trustee Lopez. I'm sorry, President Lopez.
Thank you very much. Student Rep. Bananca, I just have to say that it's been an absolute honor to consider you a colleague on this podium with us. Your tenacity towards solving issues that affect our students has just been amazing. Your ability to not only represent your fellow students, but represent with dignity. This board shows a lot to your commitment that we've seen over the last year. You have a special extra memento of your time here, because not only did you represent the students of Modesto City Schools, but you represented Modesto City Schools at the state level. Not many individuals can ever say that. So it's just been an awesome opportunity to sit along with you and to see how you raise issues and follow through, all within thinking of making our school a destination district from a student's point. So I appreciate your time here, and we wish you the best in your future endeavors, and we know that you're going to be successful, and we're going to hear a lot of great things coming from you. So thank you. And now I'll open it up to the other board members who would like to speak, and I'll start with Trustee West. Sorry.
I have to say I was fortunate enough to be on the committee when we selected our student representative. And when Ms. Bananca finished speaking after the questions we asked her, not only was I blown away, but I was a little ashamed because she knew things about our district that I did not know. She did her research, she studied, she to quote one of our previous trustees, she's a rock star, and she is going to go far. So watch out for this young lady. We are so proud of you.
Trustee Mejia?
Well, what can I say? I'm super proud of you for all that you've done, but I know our future is in great hands. great hands, and I don't, that's not an understatement. So I'm just thrilled to know you and to be sitting by you, and just blown away every time you speak, how well spoken you are, and how intuitive and empathetic you are every time you speak. So I really said the future looks bright for us, you being in it. So thank you.
Trustee Maestas?
Wow. You have to be one of the most impressive teenagers that I've ever met. And I have taught a lot of teenagers for 20-something years. I really appreciated all of your forethought, your attention to detail when you came into meetings, and especially the fight that you have for students, and the true passion that you had to come, when you come in every time and represent our student body. And I believe you're going to be a great leader one day. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Vice President Brown?
Ron, it's been a pleasure to serve with you. I want to take you back to the CSBA conference down in San Diego. Several of your peers were up on stage, and more than one of them mentioned you by name as an example of what effective student boardsmanship is all about. And, I compliment you. You are an example to school districts throughout the entire state, teaching young people how they can use their voice and be a part of great change for the education of the educational future for all students. So thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for taking time out of your studies to focus on the needs of others. And congratulations on your acceptance at Stanford. We're actually kind of glad you're close by. Not going clear across country, because that way we can follow you a little better. And wish you the very best in your academic future, and come back and lead again here in Modesto. We would love to have you back. You have a great future. Thanks.
Trustee Irvin?
Yes. Oh, my goodness. You are a true blessing to students. I mean, and also to us as adults. I even had a chance to just brag about you to other school board members. I'd let them know that's our student board member representative on the state level as well. So when you talk about your students, and we have the top students sitting at the state level from our district. And so you're a true advocate. I mean, your peers speak highly of you. And that's a testament to your advocacy. That's a testament to your leadership. That's a testament to your compassion that you have for your fellow students, for their well-being, not only academic, but emotionally. And that comes out, it radiates from your personality. And so that's something I really appreciate. You're destined for great things, and we'll be able to continue to brag and boast about you over there in Cardinal land. And and good luck. And we know you will represent well. It's been truly an honor and a privilege and to be part of knowing who you are and getting to know you and learning from you. We've learned a lot over this past year about students, and a lot of that came from you. So again, thank you.
Trustee Marks?
Yes, we totally appreciate all that you brought. I'm amazed. You would bring up issues and ideas from the students from listening to them. You're a great listener. And I was so honored to be able to meet your father the other night at our trustee dinner. And he's very proud of you. And I know he's really happy that you chose Stanford, so you're not too far away. So I know that'll be really good. And I love how you expanded what student voice meant and the students being involved in Inter-High Council, and how you moved that to a place where you wanted to be very inclusive in who could bring ideas to the board. And I thought, that's so awesome, because you're the representative for that, and you you forged a pathway for them, and that takes great leadership. So we could see the leadership skills in you, and obviously the state did too. So that's really cool. And I know that was a hard decision to do both, because it took a lot of time to sit in these board meetings and, out of your evening and sometimes study time. So we so appreciate you. It's been so awesome to have you with us, and we're going to miss you. And so I wish you all the best in your new endeavors, and we look forward to seeing where you go. So it'll be great. So thank you for serving with us.
Thank you very much, and I'm going to go over and read this plaque that we have for you. Representative Bananca, in recognition for outstanding service to Modesto City Schools, student representative to the Board of Education, for helping to foster and maintain positive and clear communication between the Board of Education and district students. This award is presented to you on behalf of the board members. Congratulations. And now, Ms. Bananca, would you give us your final report and also introduce who will be sitting in that seat come next school year?
Yes, definitely. First of all, thank you all so much for the extremely kind words. That really pulled on my heartstrings, and it's definitely a really bittersweet moment for me. Serving on this board for the past year has been, hands down, one of the greatest experiences of my life. Not only have I had the absolute privilege of representing literally tens of thousands of students at our board meetings, but I've also been able to make sure our policies reflect their needs. And more than that, I feel like I've learned such a great deal from all of you on the board. I've learned, from your example of showing what it means to be civil and showing what it means to respect others and showing what it means to speak up for others. And so I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the great example you have set for me and for being so supportive of student voice in our district. I also want to thank Dr. Noguchi for being so supportive of me throughout my entire term. Thank you for always briefing me every week before the board meetings and truly listening to the ideas I had of ways that our district can improve, and not only just listening, but also helping me implement those changes. I also want to thank Mrs. Chambers. You're over there. Thank you so much. You were always there for me to make sure I was up to date on all of the board activities, and if I ever needed anything or if I was ever confused, you were always there to help me. And most importantly, you always made sure I was able to snag one of the board dinners after the meetings. So thank you for that, because those were delicious. Next, I want to thank Ms. Hewlin for supporting me with the Inter-High Council this year. Even though it was a new experience for both of us, I'm really proud of the work that we were able to do and what we were able to accomplish this year. And finally, I want to thank Carson Carranza, last year's student board member, for helping me transition into this role and for always being there to answer any questions I had about the role and the responsibilities, even though he's in college right now at Duke. Now, looking forward, I see a really bright future for our district and our students. However, there's still much work to be done. I always think back to this quote from Socrates when he said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." And I absolutely love this quote because it reminds us that there's always room for improvement and growth, and that admitting this is not a sign of weakness, but rather it's a sign of strength, humility, and wisdom. And I think that moving forward, in my opinion, the best area to focus on and improve in our district is financial literacy and career readiness. I think I speak for all of us when I say that our district cares about equity and making sure that all of our students are prepared to succeed throughout the rest of their lives. I strongly believe that financial literacy and career readiness will not only empower students to do just that, but it will also empower students to break the chains of generational poverty and achieve the future that they see for themselves. And I think that we in this district have a really unique opportunity to make a really huge impact, considering that over 80% of our students are socioeconomically disadvantaged. If students aren't equipped with these skills, even basic skills, like understanding credit and interest rates and all of that boring stuff, it'll be significantly more difficult for them to achieve their potential. I always think of it like running a marathon without knowing where the end of the marathon is. You could be running as fast as Usain Bolt, but never win the race. And similarly, a lot of young people graduate and go out into this world and work really, really, really hard, but if they don't have a clear direction and a clear path and an understanding of how to build their wealth, then it's going to be very, very difficult for them. So as we move forward as a district, I really hope that we can focus more on this, and hopefully one day all of our students will graduate fully financially literate and prepared to pursue their career and life goals. Speaking of the future, I'm extremely excited to announce our next student board member for our district, Dara Patel. Dara is a current junior at Modesto High School, and she is currently the president and founder of the Stanislaus County Volunteer Outreach Program, better known as SCOVO, and she's also the president of Model UN and Mock Trial at Modesto High. Wow. More than that, she is an extremely passionate student who thoroughly impressed all of us on the interview panel. So now I'll hand it off to Dara to introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dara Patel. I would just like to first thank the board for allowing students the opportunity to have a voice and advocate for issues that they see and want to discuss and communicate to bring awareness about them and make change. I also am very honored to be the next student representative to the Board of Education. I want to focus on issues that directly impact students, such as mental health, drug abuse, and student safety. I also want to make it a priority to make sure that we close the achievement gap and the disparity seen between pre-pandemic and post-pandemic years. So with that, I just want to thank you all, and I look forward to working with you all next year.
Amazing.
Can I give my board report? Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Dara. I'm so excited to see what you're going to do next year, and I just have so much faith and confidence in you. Now for my student board report. There's not much to report. School's almost over, as everyone knows. Seniors are graduating. I'm so proud of all of the seniors in our district that are graduating. It's such an exciting time for us. I want to talk briefly about Tournament of Talent, which I know some of the board members talked about already. It happened on May 4th, and it was awesome. Seriously, there was so much talent in that room, and everyone who participated was just incredibly talented. I mean, I was thinking, oh my gosh, these people could win America's Got Talent or something. And I also want to give a really, really big shout out to Mr. Fromm, who put it all together. I mean, it was so well coordinated and so well planned. I mean, there was also a Star Wars theme and an amazing Star Wars characters that you would see at I don't know, Disneyland or something. They were all there, and it was really, really entertaining and exciting for everyone. So thank you for that. And that concludes my final board report.
Thank you very much. We'll be moving on to B2. Is the president or vice president of MTA present? Would you like to make a report this evening? Great.
Good evening. If you don't know who I am, I'm Daryl James. I'm the first vice president of MTA. I'm also a teacher over at Bayer High School for a really long time. And if you don't know, Modesto Teachers Association has awards 3 scholarships a year, 3 groups of scholarships. Within each of those, there's numerous scholarships for a total of 14 students for $1,000 each. Let me tell you a little bit about the scholarship, and then I'll read the students' names who got them. Some of them you may know, and kind of where they're headed. All right? The first scholarship is the Cecil Kerfman Scholarship. Recognizes a gentleman by the name of Mr. Kerfman, who is a science teacher at, social science teacher, sorry, at La Loma Junior High. And it recognizes individuals that do really well in their academics and whose sons and daughters, whose parents are MCTA members. Now, they go kind of just whoever applies, but they have to be Modesto City School students, obviously. The first one is Diego Cardenas. He's from Davis, and he's headed to Western Washington to major in business. The next one is Nayeli Cardenas from Davis. He's headed to MJC and then on into CSU for business law. The third one is Mitra Pavar from Grigori, headed to UC Davis in pre-med. Number 4 is McKenna Taylor from Johansson, headed to the University of Arizona for pre-med. 2 more in this group. Taylor Hemeller, she's from Enox. She's going to Fresno State in exercise science. And last one there is Isabella Mort from Enoch. She's headed to UCLA to major in psychology. I have to say a little funny thing about the last 2. I taught both their parents at Bayer. Yeah. So they're staying in Modesto City, so that was kind of cool. I don't know. They might have been in Mr. Herb's class. I don't remember or not. So each of those scholarships, those 6 were $1,000 each. They applied for them. It was really hard. We have a committee that gets together, and it's very difficult to pick. There's so many qualified individuals. The second group is the John Walther Scholarship, and John Walther was a English teacher at Downey High, also served as an MTA president. And this scholarship, our students that apply, they have to commit to being a teacher. So here's the future, folks, okay? Which I was excited to read what they were headed into. It was a lot of fun. So the winners on this one from Davis was Ileana Torres. She's headed to MJC in Stan State, and she's going to be an elementary teacher. There was Isabella Jordan from Downey. She's headed to San Diego State to be an elementary teacher. The next one from Downey was Ulysses Sanchez. He's headed to UC Merced to be an English teacher. Ryan Harmon from Enox. He's headed to Cal Poly, and he wants to teach history. The next one was from Johansson, Brenda Alberon. She's headed to Sac State to be a elementary teacher, and she was very specific. It must be 3rd grade. So I don't know really what the comment was on that, but she was very specific on that one. The second one from Johansson was Carla Arouza. She's headed to MJC and then to one CSU to be a history teacher. And the last one in this group was from Modesto High, Casey Rodriguez, headed to UC Merced to study psychology and elementary ed. So that's the future. I was a little saddened that there weren't science teachers in here, but we had 3 last year's winners, so we'll just roll them over. Okay? All right. And so each of those were also awarded $1,000. And the last one is the Frank Vandervoort Scholarship. Some of you may have known Frank. And his scholarship, he was a Modesto Teachers Association executive director for 15 years and a president for 8. And this scholarship goes to one senior who has high academics and school activities, as well as both the parents being active within MTA. And this year's winner was Ethan Tornberg from Enox, and he's headed to UC Riverside to study business. So each one of those, so we gave 14 of them, but there's some good kids here, as we all know. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll be moving on to B3, California School Employees Association report. Is there a president or vice president? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to B4, report on energy program partnership with Synergistics. Mr. Surley.
Thank you, President Lopez. Good evening, trustees. It was a little over 2 years ago, December 2019 to be exact, that we entered into an energy conservation contract and became energy partners with Synergistic. And then not long after that, as we all know, the pandemic hit later on that spring. And then we went almost the better part of a year without any students on our campuses. So I'm pleased to finally introduce Synergistic to the board. Robert Etchemendy and Taylor Paris. Taylor is our Synergistic Energy Specialist for Modesto City Schools. He is here every day supporting our district. And I'm pleased to have these gentlemen highlight our partnership in energy conservation and give an energy program update for you tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Zerli. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, Dr. Noguchi, Board President Lopez, we thank you. We are privileged to be here in such an evening of recognition of staff and students. It speaks well to what you're going to see here for the energy program as our partnership and the challenges that the pandemic had placed on how comfort and, of course, the occupancy changes over the district has forced us. But we have hit a wonderful milestone. If you take a look up here, we've had over $1 million in avoided cost for the district overall across all commodities for the energy program, and we look to just keep going with that. So congratulations to all of you. We appreciate your help. The staff has been tremendous. This is across energy, which incorporates electricity, natural gas, and of course, outside of energy, water, which is also a very big second, of course, during the summer. So we appreciate all your help. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so you can see here throughout time, July 20th, we saw some of, I would say, probably still the early days of the pandemic where we were able to implement the program. And then, of course, as school came back in, there was different times that we were able to, I would say, set back and conserve and not sacrifice the comfort of students and staff. So you will see some times where there's a little bit better energy savings, if you will, but also we were able to partner, and of course, we thank Tim and Roger and their teams as far as the communication and what can be done and when were the most opportune times to save energy. So we wanted to highlight water. Water is a big concern for much of the Southwest. You can see here the use avoidance for water across irrigation and domestic water being everything used within the sites. And some of those meters are mixed use, so you'll see a domestic water with also irrigation. But we reached over 40 million gallons since the start of the program, so well done. We were able to accommodate all the activities and the athletic events outside and use the water that we need, but we've also found ways to curb that waste, or any waste, I should say, excuse me. So we wanted to highlight electricity and the usage trend here, as it is the biggest commodity that we do use. Natural gas spiking in the winter, of course, when we heat, but electricity throughout the year is the biggest commodity. So the electricity saved since the beginning of the program would be enough to run 11 of the district's 23 elementary schools for 1 year. That's pretty tremendous. So congratulations again, the partnership. You'll see the trends kind of coincide when we had school coming back and when we were able to save in our base year period, as opposed to now. We're able to, again, through collaboration with Tim and Roger and the rest of the district, obviously maintain comfort but impact energy savings when possible. Yeah, we wanted to highlight here toward the end, the energy use intensity. Simply, that is just the entire square footage of the district that is conditioned, uses energy with the cost. And again, with the challenges of the pandemic, I think we've done fantastic. As you can see, the number represents 46 where we started. We are on that trend where we're making an improvement on how we impact that footprint, which you can see with some of the environmental impacts. So we'd like to put up here specifically to Modesto City Schools, the energy reduction in KBTU, just a unit of energy that we use, over 11 million KBTUs, over 2,400 metric tons of CO2 removed, and over 40,000 tree seedlings grown over for 10 years. And then this is a newer one, a number of smartphones charged close to 3. Everybody understands that, right? So a lot of smartphones that are able to be charged. But I think it speaks to what a tremendous job everybody has done here. And then, of course, our audits. So Taylor specifically, Mr. Taylor Paris, some of you have already had the opportunity to meet him, but he's out in the sites working with your staff, working with Tim and Roger and their teams to go out and audit and find out this is how we're able to find those unoccupied times, find those opportunities where maybe we can set back just a little bit more and only use where we need to. And so these audits constitute the times that he's out in the building. We've separated into 3 main parts: occupied, working with the staff, collaborating with the staff; unoccupied times, finding out what's happening in the buildings and reporting that back. And then, of course, what we call a setback, or the major holidays, the major unoccupied times that we can go ahead and realize those savings. So we want to thank you once again and ask you if you have any questions for us. That's it. Okay.
Yes, that's the end of that presentation. If there's
Yes,
any
I'm
questions.
sorry, that was it.
Thanks. I'll first go out to the public. Is there any question from the public? Comments? See none. Do I have any questions or comments from the board? And I see, we do have one. Oh, that is correct. We have Robert Etchemendy.
Yes, that was me. That was the card I submitted earlier.
Great, thanks.
I was asked to submit a card, so I didn't want to.
Sorry about that. I just saw it here, so I just read it.
First time.
Okay, seeing none from the public. Is any board wishing to comment? I have 3 so far. We'll start off with Trustee Marks.
Just wanted to thank you. This was great to see this. I remember when we did it, it took a little while to get it all situated with our board and our plans and where we were headed. And so I wish some of those board members were here tonight too. I know Trustee Brown is, but I remember, and I think John Irvin, were you on too? Yeah. So we had a few of us that were there. I was trying to look at the list of who signed off on it, and I just am not remembering everybody. I apologize for that, but probably Lopez and Trustee West, am I correct? You were here too. So it was but it started way before them, and so it was, I think it started 5 years ago, maybe 6, and then we ended up that night. So awesome. Thank you for all the charts and all the fun statistics. Those are really great.
Our pleasure. Yes, thank you.
Vice President Brown.
Yes, it's exciting to see all the savings, and I have a hard question for you, though.
Sure.
A lot of the time that has passed, we had reduced use of our facilities because our students weren't on campus. So how much of the savings are we going to be able to see post-pandemic? Are we going to see those same kind of numbers for a similar period of time? Excuse me.
So let me maybe go back here just a minute. It might help us to answer the question. So post-pandemic, we move into a time We still have some of the occupancy trends that come up. We're having some occupancy and sometimes where we didn't always see that, but we do find opportunities when we collaborate with Tim and Roger on those. When is the best time to realize those savings? And when is the best time to make sure that we're accommodating everything that we need to? And that's where you see times where it's a lot higher than others. I hope that's answering your question. And so continuing that going forward, we will continue to do the same.
Trustee Irvin?
Actually, I had similar to the same question that Vice President Brown had in trying to distinguish between the actual and the realized savings based on the lack of or minimal use prior to, when the contract started in 2020, I believe. Was it 2020?
July of 2020, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
When
back to the pre-pandemic year, that's our base year.
Okay.
That's what we're comparing to.
Okay, compared to the base year.
Yeah, the base year is before pandemic.
Correct. So, and I think Taylor understood you better than I did, so thank you, Taylor. We take that time frame that was relatively normal in normal use, normal occupancy. What did the district do, and what was kind of the normal trend of usage throughout the sites, and that's what we base the findings off of. So when you see the pandemic time, it was before 2019 was before that. So you're able to compare to a normal year and find out, hey, how are we doing compared to that kind of normal occupancy going forward?
So does that minus the time where there's no, minimum use when students and staff not on campus, the usage and things like that, does that take that into account?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Trustee Maestas?
Yeah, thank you. I guess I have one question and then more of a comment, I guess. On the use avoidance for water data, I just want to clarify that first piece right there, performance year 1 month 3. That's the kind of the start there.
Correct.
That indicates that we were negative in avoidance. We used more water than. How does that can you explain the negative just a little bit?
So a little more use in water could have been due to activity. If we didn't have some of the activity going out of the base here, and now we had to, maybe we're bringing back fields, maybe we were making it a little more on the aesthetics and playable side. And then as we got back into what would the use should be, we're able to accommodate those activities, but not make it a rainforest out there, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So then you average out, and then you kind of start climbing. So then we started really doing well once we found out what are the activities we're going to do. Do we have to bring grass back, so to speak, where it was maybe going a little drier?
That makes sense. All right, perfect. Thank you for that explanation. And then second, on the energy use intensity slide and the environmental impact, I just want to say thank you for putting that piece in there, because as much as we talk about savings and cost savings, one of the big things we've been talking about over the past year is, saving our planet. And the initiative, we got 30 electric buses, we've got some solar classrooms, all of these sustainability issues, and put it in perspective on what are these savings doing for our environment, and how are we, did my mic just go off? They just cut me off. They're trying to save energy.
We're saving energy.
Nice. It's just all the hot air he's blowing. So I just want to say thank you for putting that in perspective on how we're not only doing some cost savings, but we're actually saving, saving our planet at the same time.
Of course. And we wanted to add along those lines, Mr. Gilbert Rosas, who's here, is going to be working with us, your new sustainability director. So we're very happy to partner with him as well, as wealth of knowledge and background in sustainability. So I think those projects that you mentioned, plus the conservation where possible, and making sure that we're aware and cognizant of how we use the district's utilities will really help us. So,
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the report.
pleasure.
This is the only, report only item, so we'll be moving on to, B5.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And B5 is a report on 2022 Modesto City Schools summer school programming and summer meal programs. This is Mr. Lomelí.
Check, check. All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Board President Lopez, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Noguchi, and Cabinet. My name is Tony Lomelí. I'm the Director of Student Support Services. I will be presenting today on summer programming. We're very excited about what we have to offer this summer, along with some assistance from Mr. Zierli, who will be stepping in for Mr. Atwell today to talk about summer meal programs as well. The purpose of this presentation is really to give you an overall view of what we have planned this summer. We have a robust summer school planned of academic and enrichment opportunities for all our kids across the district. Also to provide a little report on our community summer meal program and answer any questions you all may have. Again, the goals that we align with are goal 1 and 3. Equity is very important and access is very important this summer, as well as academic achievement, along with getting students college and career ready, as well as providing a safe and welcoming environment, respectful learning environment here in our district for the summer programs. Again, the purpose of summer school this year is to extend the school year in order to provide academic and enrichment support for our students. And when I mean students, I mean all students. A little overview of what we have going on this summer. One of the steps we really took this year is to align all programs. In the past, we've had programs that ran 19 days, 17 days, and 20 days. All programs throughout the summer will be running from June 2nd to June 29th, which is a total of 20 instructional support days, including 1 teacher workday. Breakfast and lunch will be provided, along with snacks, because we've expanded our after-school programs to run in the summer for our TK6 kids. Along with that, we will also be providing social emotional support by having our student assistance specialists working at all sites throughout the summer as well. Here are some of the summer programs that I'll go into more detail as we go through the slides. We are going to continue our ECE program, Early Childhood Education Summer Bridge program, along with our elementary summer school, junior high summer school, high school summer school, migrant summer school, our special ed component, which is our extended school year, along with many enrichment opportunities for our students. I'll get started with going over a little bit of what we're doing with the early childhood education. This past June, we hosted our first ever summer bridge program led by Senior Director Heidi Nunes. We plan to continue that, but also expand on that. Last year, we were able to host it at 11 sites. We expanded that to 12 sites, along with our other programs. This will also run for 20 instructional days, and we're hoping to target 345 students who have signed up, which would be a huge increase from last year. So we're excited about continuing that program. Which really will allow us to get our kids prepared for TK and Kinder. This is a great program, which one of the biggest tools we can give our young ones is getting them prepared for that first day of TK and Kinder and giving them the skills that they need to get off to a great start. But not only that, have useful data so that we can target these students early and give them the support they need this summer. Did I skip one? Oh no. My apologies. I wanted to give a little overview because one of the words that's been thrown around a lot is the ELOP, which is our Expanded Learning Opportunities Plan. I'm sure you've heard it in meetings, we've heard it in legislator, and wanted to give you a little overview of something that's been the center of my work and working with this district. It was the intent of the legislator that expanded learning programs are pupil-centered, results-driven, and include community partners and complement but do not replicate learning activities in the regular school and school year. So in essence, it's expanding what we already have done, like Mr. Irvin has, in after-school programs, but also expanding that to before school, summer, and intersession times. So really our goal was to expand to offer a 9-hour program at our elementary sites to support working families so that they not only get an academic component, but they also get an enrichment component, but also get access to to that support they need so working families can continue to work through the summer. Our elementary summer school programs are going to be offered at all elementary sites. With a little bit of support from Mr. Ort's team, we were able to get 17 sites up and ready to run this summer. They're doing a ton of work, and we appreciate that work, but we were able to get 17 sites up and running, and we had to combine some sites due to all the great construction going on because of our bond money. So I'm very thankful that I have 17 sites, but it is really nice that they were able to work with us to give us that flexibility. The morning time is focused on academics, so this is the morning time where we're focused on that ELA, English Language Arts, English Language Development, and math component, along with some support from our CLT, our computer teachers, and our music teachers at times. And again, we're expanding. Enrichment and expanded learning now takes place from 12 to 5. In past years, for example, we were able to run 4 or 6 hour programs and summer programs. All of our elementary programs are 9-hour programs now to support families. We're very excited about this too. And again, having 185 teachers that are willing to participate this summer and support our families is just, it's great because it really gives us the opportunity to really give access to anybody that wants to attend this summer. And again, the huge thing that's going to change this summer is being able to expand from 6 to 9 hour days for all our families this June. At our junior high and middle school summer, we're going to continue to offer programs at all schools. But again, working with Roger's team, Loloma's junior high will be held at Roosevelt, so we'll be combining those programs to offer credit recovery in the mornings. We have a total of 29 teachers that will be supporting those programs, along with some enrichment activities that I'll talk on later on in this slide. Some stuff that we're doing with MJC and some of our CTE teachers at those sites as well. And these are led by our site administrators at the middle school level. Our high school summer school program, which is led this year by Principal Eric Corgiet, who during his normal duties is the athletic director at Bayer High, and also Vice Principal Armando Medina, who is now going to be our new principal at Muir this next year. I'm excited for both of them. They're going to be offering and supporting all high schools in summer school offerings. Again, due to construction and great things that are happening at our schools, Downey is located at Johansson this summer. We will be running an AM and PM sessions like past years through our traditional model there and to support all kids through those schools. We also will have a G230 component. Elliott will have a component along with MVA having a component to support their students as well. Another component to high school summer school is our intercession model, something that we've talked about before. Going into the summer, sites will be able to run and allow students to identify students who need to raise their grades. So students that are failing at the end of the spring 22 classes, we will continue the model that we've done in the winter in the past years to really support these kids. These kids may not need 4 weeks to remediate class. They may need 3 days to work with a teacher to improve their grades. That will be led by site administration and work with teachers that are willing to or have the opportunity to work with students to make sure they can improve their grades. Not only from failing to pass, but even a student that may have a C or a B that wants to improve their grades can work with their teachers. This will also be site-led. In addition to this, we're excited to offer Migrant Summer School this year. Again, this will target our 150 to 195 migrant students. Our goal is to provide these services for those kinder through 8th grade kids. They will get that in the afternoon, and we will work really closely with Mrs. Moda and Migrant Ed to make sure they not only get an academic component through remediation, but also get this component through Migrant Ed and have some opportunities for enrichment as well. So we're hoping to really be flexible enough to provide all those opportunities for this group of students as well at different sites. For special education, this is all based on their individual needs through their IEP process, and part of the students' special education is offer a free appropriate public education. We are going to be holding this at 5 different sites, Robb Road, Martone, Marshall, Sonoma, and Beard, to make sure we're providing equitable access to our students in special ed. Along with 712, will be centralized at Johansson, so we'll be able to support the 712 population at Johansson High School this summer. I guess this is where the fun stuff comes. We're excited about engagement and enrichment boot camps this summer. Excuse me. Again, one of the focal points is to make sure we're able to offer these enrichment type activities outside the academic remediation time. So that way there's equitable access for students in the afternoons. And then in July, there's going to be opportunities for social emotional support as well. And we have a robust catalog that will be available on the website for students to take classes throughout all the grade levels. Just alone in our TK6 level this year, we have 65 teachers that already have approved enrichment proposals. This includes some of our high school CTE teachers that are coming down to the elementary level to give kids access to CTE type experiences, hence promoting their own programs as well, but also giving much needed experiences at our schools. On top of that, this is going to be the first year, but all elementary sites will be open until 5 p.m. And that's support from our expanded learning staff that will be working all summer, Sonoma and Lakewood through the Boys and Girls Club. Also, our MCS after-school staff will be supporting all the other sites so that we're providing the support to students up to 5 o'clock. At the 7-12 level, again, at this point, we already have 40 teacher enrichment proposals. And also, we're excited about offering 16 MJC summer camps that are career and college ready for our middle school kids. We will be busing kids to MJC, and if you see some of the pictures from this past summer, where they would be taking place in nursing classes, fire science, culinary arts, and something new this year where they're going to be doing some STEM projects where they'll actually build drones that actually play soccer. So excited about those types of opportunities for our kids this summer. And I just got to say, one of the big missions of this expanded learning is not only to utilize the staff that we have. We're very thankful for our CCA partners, our MTA partners, but we're also thankful for our community partners. I'm excited to bring in MJC in to do summer camps. We're excited to use Stanislaus County Office of Ed, who's going to be supporting some of our schools with environmental science. We've already taken trips to Knights Ferry. That's going to continue on to go into Santa Cruz to study environment stuff. We're excited about working with our partners in after-school programs, Police Activity League and Boys and Girls Club, who will be expanding their services throughout the summer to support our kids. We will be taking numerous schools to outdoor education opportunities this summer. We'll be working with MoArt here in town to give art activities to different of our schools. We have the State Theater. We have a VAPA component, Visual and Performing Arts. We'll have people be able to go backstage or kids to learn more about that. Just to name a few, Performance Lab will be doing healthy camps. They'll be doing some CrossFit type activities for their kids and talk about nutrition. So we're really trying to bridge the gap and bring in as many community partners that really support our community here to support the programs and give the kids meaningful experiences during summer program and going forward in expanded learning. All right, I'll turn it over to Mr. Zerly.
Thank you, Tony. Although I can't speak to this as well as Chris Atwell could, if he was here, I am honored and pleased to present these next two slides to the board because we are so excited that once again this year, meals in our community will return. And for many families, school meals are not only essential, but they're a necessity. As during the summer, while many children are at home, they don't have the same access to meals that they would have during the traditional school year. Summer, in many cases, is statistically the hungriest time of year, and we want to provide that need for our students and their families. To continue providing this support in our community, we will be serving at 25 locations across the district. We're currently on pace this year to serve more than 4 million meals and snacks during this school year. And this is why continued nutrition support over the summer is essential for our families. Providing meals at local parks will allow us to provide nutrition support for our scholars when school is not in session, and also for their siblings who may not be of school age yet. These meals that we're going to hand out are available for anyone 18 years of age and under. Meals will include favorites like hot grilled cheese sandwich, cheeseburger, chicken burritos. Families can go to any of the 25 locations to receive meals this summer, and meals will be available weekdays in June and July for families that are interested. Families and community members that need more information about the program are available on the District's Nutrition Services website at www.mcsnutrition.org. or they can feel free to call Nutrition Services at any time for more information. Thank you, Tony.
All right, so just next steps, again, like I did this past fall, is to come back with the outcomes of summer. We are definitely going to be collecting data as far as pre and post data academically and how we're focused on our kids K through 12. Secondly, one thing that's very important in improvement, as we're expanding and offering more and more things, it's always going to be a work in progress. So we always want to see how students feel, how teachers feel, how people feel, and survey them so that we can improve year to year. So that's something that's very important. And again, we want to continue to expand and provide services and bring in more community partners and enrichment activities for our kids in the future. And speaking on the nutrition and service side, we're looking forward to continue to provide nutritional support. I'm very thankful because running programs like this that are expansive in times when schools usually are not shutting down, but having the support from nutrition services, maintenance and operations to go, hey, yeah, I'm using your schools. We're using them for a couple more weeks. We're going to be, oh yes, we're not closing until 5 or 6. It really takes a team effort across the board for it to be able to do that. Yes. Sorry if I talk too fast, but thank you. If you have any questions, this is the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll go out to the public, see if there's any comments or questions. I do have one. Come on up.
Hi, I know several of you guys. I'm Blake Matan. I teach resource over at Modesto High School. A couple things. I just wanted to acknowledge one summer school program that I didn't notice up there. There is a special education summer school program that's separate from the extended school year. And I've taught for the past, I think, 6 years. I'm not going to do it this year, but summer school through regular education. And for the students, resource students or SDC students, who don't fit the need for extended school year, but do have unit recovery needs, getting their needs met in that regular summer school environment was really, really challenging. And even when I was teaching the class and trying to do my job as a resource teacher, really supporting them, it was really challenging. Since they've added that specific special education focused summer school, it has really, really helped. And we've seen a really good improvement in getting units recovery. So just wanted to acknowledge that. So just sort of thought that was important to note because it really has. A lot of my students and have benefited from it, and it would really make a difference on being on track and not on track. So just wanted to shout that out and hope, because I think that's going to really need to continue. Because when we're doing these things, self-paced programs like Apex and Florida Virtual, for the student who has learning disabilities, expecting them to independently basically go through that stuff, do that reading and do that kind of content, because there is a teacher in the room, but that history teacher in there is teaching U.S. history, world history, government, economics. To expect them to really sit there and micro accommodate that is difficult. But when you have a room where all the students have IEPs, there's a greater latitude to do that type of adjustments. So just wanted to sort of acknowledge that, both the impact and the need. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. Is there any questions and comments from our board? I see one, Trustee Irvin and Trustee West.
Yes, excellent report. I mean, if our students are not busy this summer, it's not because there's not no availability, it's because they don't want to. So it's definitely, the opportunity is definitely there for them to be busy this summer. My question, first question is, on the elementary summer programs and the focus time, I see it's 8 to 12 p.m. So what would that look like? Because I'm thinking, it's like, man, that's a lot of time. Knowing that summer is voluntary, will it possibly pose a threat of, students might not be as engaged for that period of time. So I'm just trying to see, what does that look like, during that academic focus time?
Yeah, I'll give you like an example. So Bret Hart, for example, we have a CTE teacher that's coming in that's doing some support as well. So you'll have a core, obviously reading is important, a core ELA component that will last from an hour to an hour and a half, a core math component, because those are needed, right? But also there will also be those carrots that are within there, whether it's our music teachers, computer teachers doing STEM, and also a graphic design teacher, for example, that's going to Bret Hart, that the kids will be able to rotate through. So we're very wary of that, what you talked about, and then also understanding that, you know, once that lunchtime hits, that they have things to look forward to, whether it's an escape room challenge, team building, whether it's a field trip that they're taking somewhere. So we're working with our expanded learning department, our coordinators are really working on those catches. Like, yes, we do need to improve academically, but also we need to provide experiences at all school sites so that if a kid is coming and goes, yes, if I work really hard, if I give 2 hours and I get better, then there's this, I'm going to have some activities that I can go to. Each site's going to have a set of experiences for these kids that it's going to keep them there. That's our goal.
Okay, some of that disguised learning.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, wait, the learning needs to take place.
Right.
We need it to take place, but also there is opportunities for experiences and stuff to engage these students as well.
Okay, thank you. And my last question is, on the partnership slide, I didn't see the City of Modesto Parks and Recreation and Neighborhoods Department, so there's no longer a partnership there?
Yes, they're a partnership, just not in a component of summer school this year, but we already have a contract. They're part of the expansion next summer for summer piece, but they're still a big partner in expanded learning for that piece.
Okay.
They are offering things, but it's through, you know, the pool stuff, the things in town. There are a lot of offerings in City of Modesto, so they are doing a lot. There is just not a direct partnership where we're connecting with them. Our kids have access to those activities. So to enhance, they could have been on the slide as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Maestas? Oh, sorry, Trustee West. You are now.
I was a little bit confused because there's a lot listed for elementary, and I'm not sure if these are all separate programs or if some of the slides are just describing some of the programs. So if I'm a parent and I have an elementary school student, how do I know, what's the difference between the elementary summer program, the engagement enrichment boot camp, the enrichment expanded learning opportunities? Are they all different, or how do I know which one to put my student into? How do they differentiate?
So if you signed up, the registration forms that go out, I'll have the flyers here, and I can leave them with you guys along with the catalog. They have a choice to choose. Some of them only want to do the academic remediation piece, and some of them can choose both. We'll also provide an enrichment catalog where parents can go, and maybe I am a student at Lakewood, but I really like this cool activity that's going on this school at 2:30 at this other school site, and there's a contact number where they're able to contact them as well. So those are both components there as far as the enrichment and the elementary piece is concerned.
So they have two choices to do the academic and/or the enrichment.
Yes.
And those run the month of June.
Yes.
So there's nothing in July for elementary students.
Also in the catalog, there'll be a set of July enrichment catalogs that are proposed by teachers. So yes, there'll be some July opportunities as well. So that would be in the catalog too, sir.
And the boot camp is just describing these, or is it separate?
These are the boot camps.
Sorry, it's a little confusing. Okay, thank you.
Along with that, I was gonna ask, I saw that for our 7 and 8, we have credit or investment, right, in the morning, and then we had enrichment in the afternoon. What's the busing situation or transportation situation in the middle of the day, or if you're coming in the morning, you're staying until the afternoon because there's no ride back until the afternoon?
Any busing situations that are needed are being proposed by the site administration, and we're accommodating. We're working with our transportation department, and depending on the needs, if there's even a small number of kids that need to be moved from one place to the other, we set up a route and take them there. The examples are Burbank and Fairviews, where they have normal routes where maybe 18 kids would ride. If we have 8 kids, we're providing the service and supporting them. And the same goes for Hanshaw, those schools. So if there's a transportation need, we're working with transportation to make sure we give them access to a site.
Sounds good. Thank you. Trustee Maestas?
Yeah, I had a question on the credit recovery piece, but actually that's kind of been answered. I tried to go on to the website to look at the catalog, and there's the registration form. Do I have to fill out the registration form to look at the catalog online? I don't know if you know the answer to that, but I couldn't access the catalog. So I don't know if that's something to take a look at. I would like to look at the catalog, so if it can make the rounds, just so I can take a look at it. That was my major question, had to do with the catalog.
I will double check to make sure it's on there, and then I'll send an email out with all the attachments, so you guys can have the catalogs as well.
Because my question really lies in the 9-12 enrichment, I guess they're called enrichment courses. I just want to take a look at it and see what's offered, and then I'll probably have more questions that I can throw out a little later that can come back in a board communication.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Vice President Brown?
Yes, I love the energy and the momentum that I feel here. And I'm excited that we are offering so many opportunities to stop some of the summer learning loss. And I'm just really grateful for the number of teachers that have volunteered to participate. And so a lot of gratitude for the participation. So as we're looking at these great opportunities, we've gone many years where we didn't offer very much enrichment opportunities during the summer. And a lot of the ESSER funds and funds that are coming to us because of the pandemic have made a lot of this possible. So I look at the energy and momentum and say, what can we do when those funds stop? Can we, as a district, continue this type of programming? What will we be able to do after, what is it, a 3-year period? Any thought?
Look into a crystal ball. I don't.
I just hope that we can find ways to continue to support kids in these great programs.
Tony, correct me if I'm wrong on the ELOP dollars. Those
there's
ELOP dollars are.
There's currently a huge commitment in expanded learning and supporting from the legislator, and there's good news coming back forth, so this becomes sustainable. So there's some great opportunities, especially right now at the TK6 level, to make sure we're expanding, in these services and being able to move forward. So it does look good for the near future, but again, I can't predict 5, 6, 7 years out, but we really could set up a model, going forward that's successful for kids through these first 2 years, and it was really because of the vision coming into this vision last year of using that one-time funds to say, hey, we're going to re-engage kids next year, really set the tone for us going into this year to try to expand that. And then hopefully we'll continue to do that. And then, like I said, I don't know 3 to 5 years out, but it looks promising right now.
Yeah, and the ELOP dollars, that's ongoing dollars.
Okay.
So until the state no longer has that, then we just have to make decisions on how you would fund something if it was ultimately cut. And as far as the catalog, we will get that up tomorrow for the public because we're looking, and I don't see the catalog up there, so we'll ensure that it's up there for the public tomorrow.
Thank you for that. Trustee Marks?
Yes, this is great. It's exciting. I love seeing the summer school because I know that's a great time for the kids to learn and for parents to have them out of their hair sometimes. But as a parent of 3 boys, it was always fun to try to find stuff to do in the summertime. I wanted to ask you, how are we reaching out to our non-English speaking parents so they have access to this? They're not always computer literate. Not everybody is. I certainly am not always. So how are we reaching out to them and helping them so that their students can have access to these programs this summer?
I could really speak for the TK6 piece because we have expanded learning coordinators or after-school coordinators that have done a really good job of targeting not targeting, but looking at the kids that need it the most, right? Our sites are looking at kids academically that need it the most, while our department really looks at not only our English learners, but also our homeless and foster youth. It's part of our plan that we put together for expanded learning that was brought to the board in February. And really, whenever we have any types of programs, there's targeted phone calls that are made, targeted outreach to those types of families to make sure that they're aware of the situations. And that goes from site to site with our staff.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good, because I just want to make sure we were really
Yeah,
reaching out to them.
there's only so
Yeah.
many flyers you could send out unless
Right.
you're actually making boots on the ground phone calls to certain
Yeah.
families. They're not gonna participate in programming.
It's true, and I hope our parent ambassadors can actually help with that too and be a connection. But really the barrier sometimes for parents that don't speak English. That's awesome, thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments?
President Lopez, I just wanted to make one comment. I think it was Dr. Saranaguchi in a cabinet meeting, challenged student support services and said, I want this summer school to be the biggest and the best, and I'm confident we're going to deliver. Great job, Tony Lamelli, in terms of putting all this stuff together.
Show me
Definitely.
the data.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for all the work. I remember her saying that to us, we're going to see the best summer school programs this summer, and I think we're seeing them. So we're excited to see we're excited to see the report back, but we're excited to see the students have fun and learn this summer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And this is a report only. Thank you, Tony. This is a report only, and so we'll be moving on to B6, report on A through G completion improvement grant. Dr. Contreras.
Good evening, Board President Lopez, Board of Trustees, Dr. Noguchi, and Cabinet. My name is Heather Contreras, and I am the Assistant Superintendent of School Leadership, and I am presenting on the A through G Completion Improvement Grant. The purpose of this presentation is to explain what the A through G Completion Improvement Grant is and what actions we are taking to meet the intentions of the grant, and this is a report only. This aligns with our district strategic goal number 1, which is increasing academic achievement and ensuring equitable access to enable all students to attain college and career readiness. And just a little background before we get into the details of the grant. The A through G courses refer to the sequence of high school course programming that students must complete in order to be eligible to attend a four-year college. And those A through G courses include coursework in English, math, laboratory science, history and social science, a language other than English, visual performing arts, and college and preparatory elective. The A through G Completion Improvement Grant is actually authored under Assembly Bill 130. This grant is really more of an apportionment, and it is a program developed to help our students across all of California to be more prepared for college and career and being eligible in A through G. We are required to submit a plan for this apportionment to the California Department of Education, and then we are asking for approval of this plan at the June 6th board meeting. Some of the improvement grant actions that we're working to use to support A through G are in the areas of access to A through G, in the areas of course remediation of A through G. All students, in order to have an A through G course count, must get a C or better in that course. And we want to include specific actions that will address homeless, our foster youth, our low-income students, and our English learner students as well. So the actions that we are putting into the plan, and this is a fluid plan and a broad plan over several years, so the actions may change. We'll be monitoring to see what strategies are really working for our students as we look at the data. But we are looking at professional development in the areas of supporting our families in outreach about what A through G is and how to get students into A through G courses, and then how to monitor their performance in their courses. One of the strategies we found effective at all of our schools is the PK program, which is the Parent Institute for Quality Education. So we are looking to expand opportunities for our schools in that area. Our counselors at 2 of our schools the past 2 years have been working with Hatching Results, which is a professional development for counselors really aimed at how do we help our students to be more successful in schools through the counseling lens and through the actions counselors take. So we're looking to expand that because we have found that to be a strategy that is working for our students. We'll be offering teachers increased opportunities for professional development, including in SIOP, which is for our English learners. SIOP stands for our Sheltered Instruction Observational Protocol. It's a series of protocols and strategies that teachers can use specifically to support English learners in content classes. And then AVID is another area where we'd like to see expansion. AVID stands for Advanced via Individual Determination. It's at many of our schools already, but we'll look at ways that we can expand that program even down into the elementary schools. Some other actions that we will be looking at include an instructional focus and helping students to access the core content through better instruction and improved instruction, also more focused instruction. So of course, expansion of AVID, which focuses on instructional strategies for students. We're looking at examining a multi-tier system of support within the school day at our 7 through 12 schools. That is something that's being researched and looking at how that could be implemented to help students within the school day. Looking at algebra strategies where maybe we can push in paraprofessionals to give additional support to students in their algebra classes. And then an increased focus on our professional learning communities, which are the communities where teachers really examine how they're delivering the standards to students and what supports they can do and what are we doing when students are struggling. And then we are also looking at how we are giving support through our academic language development classes for our students who are English learners. We're also looking at specific actions that would address the course remediation portion of this grant and those additional remediation opportunities for students in the area of A through G, and remembering that they have to have a C or better in those classes. So we'll look to expand our additional summer school opportunities, our extended summer school opportunities, additional tutoring for students, and then optional class opportunities for students at the high school level. So our next steps for this are to seek board approval of this plan on June 6th. We'll be, like I said earlier, implementing the plan, but then monitoring and adjusting it over the course of the grant to make sure that the strategies and actions that we've selected are actually effective with our students. And with that, are there any questions?
Thank you very much, Dr. Contreras. I'll go out to the public. Is there anyone speaking to ask a question or a comment? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. I have one question from Trustee Maestas.
Thank you. Thank you for the report. A through G requirements. Whew. So I got one kind of big question. The A through G requirement for mathematics is 3 years required, 4 years recommended.
Correct.
With a minimum of Algebra 1. Yeah, so minimum is Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. We currently have kids this year take pre-algebra, which does not count towards A through G. In order to get them to the 4 years recommended, is one of these course remediation pieces to have a class that can bring them back to grade level or A through G requirements.
Yes, we're looking at different opportunities and ways that we might do that. There's some different pilot programs at some of our schools aside from the pre-algebra option to see what's most effective to help those students to get up to speed and be able to have all 4 years.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from our board members? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Dr. Contreras.
Thank you.
This is a report only, so we'll be moving on to our next item, which is B7. Thank you. And B7 is discussion on board members' professional development, and this is Dr. Noguchi.
Perfect, thank you. I think that there's a little clicker out there somewhere, because I'm not going to stand up there. I waive my right to stand up there. Thank you. Let's see if it works. It does. Do you need something, Mr. Jelly? Oh, okay. All right. So tonight's presentation is really, I need to get some guidance and some feedback from you all relative to some changes that I'm going to propose to make to some board bylaws, and I'll talk about that. There's like 7 or 8 slides here, but really at the end, I just need some guidance relative to the work around approval of professional development for board members. So the purpose of this presentation is twofold. First is to establish a process for approving professional development, which includes the criteria for professional development activities. And then secondly, once we identify that, is taking a look at the budget and what we want to allocate for professional development for the board. We do have bylaws, so bylaw 9240 provides some general structure for individual board members wanting to attend professional development, but it is recommended that we go a little bit further with these bylaws and we define the purpose for the professional development, a process for identifying that, and then also ensuring that that professional development is for the benefit of the public or the benefit of you, the board as a whole, not an individual benefit. So I'd like to come back at the next either board meeting or special board meeting, depending upon how this conversation goes, really with updates to bylaws 9240. And embedded in there will be the established purpose that we're going to talk about, and then also ensuring that this purpose is aligned to the vision and the goals of the district. So a proposed process, and certainly this is what I'm going to come back to this when we have the discussion, because again, we're going to be discussing 2 things. 1, the process, and 2, just the budget for this. I'm proposing that we develop a form. This form would have a place where you describe the activity, the conference that you want to go to. What is the activity itself? I think there should be another bullet here, and that should be the purpose. I apologize for this. I thought I had uploaded an additional PowerPoint, but the second bullet, I would recommend that we also have a purpose. What's the purpose of the professional development? What are the estimated costs? And how does this professional development that you're proposing align to the vision and the goals of the district? That form would then go to the board for approval, and then there would be a follow-up to the presentation. So for instance, Trustee Marks does delegate assembly a couple times during the year. If she needed to fly to San Diego to go to the delegate assembly, she puts that she's going to the delegate assembly, this is the cost. And then like she does in the past, and she has done this throughout the years, she always gives us an update of what she's learned at the delegate assembly and the information moving forward. So it's always in benefit of the board as a whole, as opposed to just her benefit being a board member, being part of delegate assembly. So that would be the first one, and that is just the process, and we're going to come back to that. We're going to talk about the process, again, adding a second bullet as a purpose statement. The next piece is just the budget, and this, I only have 1 slide on this, but I wanted to bring some context to what we currently have budgeted. So currently this past year, we budgeted roughly $17,000. We actually used $21,000, so we went over a little bit on our budget. So because of that, for next year currently, and we can certainly change this, we've budgeted $23,800, so roughly $24,000. What did that budget cover? The budget covered all of our travel and conference fees for CSBA, because we all went as a team together, which I do think is very powerful to continue the team effort that we have here at Modesto City. Also the work around delegate assembly and the work that is required of that. And then there was an additional conference, a California Association for Black School Educators. It was just the entrance fees, because that doesn't count for the hotel and airfare, because we actually got a refund for that. So it was just just the conference fee. So the total out of the 20,900 is CSBA predominantly, delegate assembly, which is a small portion of that, and then one conference. So that gives you a general sense of what we've budgeted. And again, this is completely open for discussion depending upon what you all decide. So this is what I'd like to really open up the discussion, more of like a kind of a special board meeting, actually have a conversation around the proposed application, not application, but process for applying and then establishing a budget. So with that, I'm going to go back to the proposed process and just have a dialogue around the process here. We can go out to the public and then come back if you'd like, but it really is around those two items.
Thank you very much, Dr. Noguchi. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board, and I have a question or a comment from Trustee Irvin.
Yes, I just want to know, suggest that we move forward and develop some kind of process for requests. I'm all for the approval form. You know, my thing is that I know a lot of other board members, I get texts or emails saying, hey, you know, where you at a particular training or things for board members from other districts. And just like I feel the importance of professional development for our staff members, I think it's equally important for us as board members to be have professional development as well, because we're here to govern the district, and so that professional development is just as important for us to learn our jobs, to perform them as fully and effectively and efficiently as possible.
Yeah, I'm also on board with the process, but also if we would, we do a yearly approval of the budget. So like not just the process, but yearly, just because some years we would have potentially some resources, but then other years we might not. So just being cognizant of that as we make decision yearly, that would be my recommendation. The process seems fine. We could just maybe add some details, but I think the process is fine. I don't know, we're discussing also to increase or decrease for the following year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Trustee Marks?
Those are good ideas. Just to give a little history, I know we have limited the number of meetings and trainings that we've done, especially in years where we've had short budgets. But we also, I'm trying to think, oh man, every time I talk, I get a tickle, sorry. See if that helps. But I don't think it's going to. Hang on. But I would like to find out what other districts are doing, like Ceres and Turlock and Elk Grove, and just to give us an idea, Central Valley people, what kinds of budgets that they have for their boards and for trainings. I think I agree with Mr. Irvin. It is good to have trainings and be able to be up to date on what's happening. I can't tell you how much I've learned from Delegate Assembly, being part of that as a past president. And when I was a delegate elected in the county to serve, just being able to, during COVID, to hear all what's happening in 6 counties, board members, of how they were planning their graduations, how they were trying to respond to certain things right at the beginning. It just was really helpful for us to know that, and I was grateful that we could do it online. It didn't cost me anything. I didn't have to go anywhere. So that was really, I like that a lot. But I mean, it's helpful to get to hear what other people are doing, but I think it's also really important that these are public funds that we are entrusted with, and so to be mindful of that. I know in the past, I recall some superintendents reminding us of that at times, because they said, now this isn't your money, you know, this is the public funds, so let's be mindful of that. just how we're spending it, and that it's very helpful for what we're doing. And I like the criteria that it needs to be something that's, it said public on here, for the public, that whatever training we do, it's so that we can enhance what we're doing here, so we're benefiting the public and the students that we serve. So that's kind of how I look at it. But yeah, if you could find out some more information, and that way we know if we're overspending or underspending, and, you know, just how that all works with other districts that have gone through this process maybe before we have.
Thank you, Trustee Marks. Trustee West?
Thank you. I agree also that professional development is important for all of us. And my question kind of tagged along with Trustee Marks. The process is good, and this is new to all of us. So I don't know if we need anything in there about limits on how many conferences or how many you can do a year or how many people can go. I think our board, we wouldn't necessarily have an issue with that, but we're putting policy in place for future board members. And so I'm just envisioning, what if all 7 people wanted to do 2 conferences, or we all wanted to do a conference, and then the money ran out and only 3 people got to go and the other 4 didn't. How do we need to put something into place for this, or not? I'm just thinking ahead, could there be possible issues in the future with equity in who wanted to go and how many could go? Just something to think about.
Thank you very much. Vice President Brown?
How to recognize student board rep.
Ms. Bananca?
Hello? Is it on? Okay. I really like that we're doing this. I remember after I attended the CSBA conference, which was an incredible experience, I was on a FaceTime call with one of my friends that I met at the conference, and we were calculating the cost just out of curiosity, and it came up to something like, you know, for the whole board, you know, of a school district, like over $10,000, like closer to $20,000. So I was just like completely blown away that it was that expensive. And I think that Trustee Marks brought up a good point in that this is public money, it's the taxpayers' money, it's not our money. And so I think especially the part on the proposed process about following up with a written or oral report back to the board is really important, so that we make sure that the public knows what we're doing and how we're spending this and how it's helping us. Because I think it's really important to have professional development for the board members, just like we have professional development for staff. I know at the CSBA conference, I definitely got to learn a lot and made some really valuable connections with other board members that I was able to learn from even after the conference. So it is valuable, but I think it's important for us to just remember that it's not our money, and, you know, just to make sure that the public knows what those funds are being used for.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vice President Brown?
Yes, there's some definite things that I'd like us to include in whatever language we adopt. And I want to recognize that there is some incredible training available to us through CSBA that we should encourage each other to participate in. There's the Masters in Governance that can take a couple of years to complete. And there are some costs associated with that. But I want to make sure that we focus on things that build and strengthen our board, and specifically mention the CSBA training that's available to us. And then also, I've got a question regarding the funds and the budget. Does that budget include opportunities for our student board member? Is that?
It can. I mean,
Is there separate funding for that available, or is that something we need to include in this as well?
Well, and we can add that into our bylaw. So I'm getting some, you know, what I'm hearing as far as an update to the bylaw would be yearly approval process, looking at ensuring that we highlight CSBA trainings, Master in Governance, and other courses, and include student board member in that as well, as far as just the update to the bylaw. The last piece that I'm hearing also is from Trustee Marks, and that is when I bring this forward, I'm assuming I'd bring this forward, not assuming, I'm thinking we'd best bring this forward on a workshop, the next time we have a workshop or a special board meeting, and bring the research from other school districts on what they budget and then also what they allow for. I think that will help with the conversation. I don't think the next time I bring it will be an approval. I think the next time I bring it will be a draft of these ideas and others as we move forward. Did that answer your question?
Yes, I
think I went a little
just
bit
want to
further.
make sure that we do
The
include
student.
funding for student participation at CSBA, because that's a valuable experience.
Yes, and that did, our current budget did. And I've also heard an interest of having additional cabinet members also funded for CSBA participation. And I know next year we're going to move forward a couple presentations. Hopefully they're chosen, and we will have cabinet members, both in the equity and then also with the board, what was it called? The Golden Quill or something. And so we'll have to see which presentations are accepted.
Okay,
Golden
thank you.
gavel. this time.
Gavel, not the quill, it's the gavel.
Ms. Banaka, you had a comment?
It's a gold something.
Gold for the gavel.
Just wanted to bring this up while we're at it. I think this is one of my last chances to bring this up. But I know you talked about budgeting funds for the student board member at CSBA, and that reminded me that I just wanted to bring up the idea that maybe we can explore later in a different item. I'm not sure if it can really be explored here, but I want to put in your ears that I think maybe in the future the student board member should get a stipend. And I say this because, not because I want money or anything, it wouldn't affect me, but I think that especially for students that have to work or socioeconomically disadvantaged, this position can be very difficult to actually maintain because it takes a lot of commitment of extra, hours that they might have to be doing something else in. And so having a stipend can really make sure that it is a position that anyone in our district can hold feasibly without interfering with any of their other responsibilities, or maybe they have to work, for example. I just want to bring that up because I know this is, as I said, one of my last times to bring that up.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And I have it noted, so that will come back. And I do know that Rana has some vision for next year as well that I'm sure is going to continue to move forward, and I have a couple notes.
Definitely, thanks. Trustee Maestas?
Yeah, I agree with what everyone's said and all the stuff that you have down. My question actually really comes to the budget that you have here for next year, 22-23. 4,000 more than we budgeted for was used. Is that going to be enough? Especially if we are thinking of taking, which I think is a wonderful idea, bringing some cabinet members to CSBA. Is that going to be a big enough budget to cover what we expect?
We wouldn't put cabinet in the board's budget for professional development. That would come out of other budgets. But I had heard from a number of different board members that they would like to see additional folks there for training. So in answer to your question, this budget is fine if we're keeping it the same as the same number of professional development opportunities as we did this year.
Okay, does that take in, I'm sure it does, but does it take into consideration inflationary costs of whatever? Because none of that stuff has been booked for CSBA conference. So I don't know how much more plane flights were than last year, or hotels last year. I just want to make sure we're not going to be over all the time.
Right, we can accommodate what we currently have on the books right now. The question is going to come into play when we come back with this updated board bylaws is, Are we approving additional conferences for 7 board members, 2 different conferences for 7 board members? A certain set where it's, 50,000 and then it goes to Trustee West's concern, is it first come, first serve? That ultimately is going to drive the budget. Once we decide the what, we can figure out the dollars for it.
I just want to be transparent with public funds that, we don't tell the public, our budget's 16,000, and then we end up going and spending 23,000. And what happened? So it's just about transparency for me. I see what you're saying. So as soon as we get that, as close as we can get to, it's better to be under than to be over, in my opinion.
Definitely. For me, I agree with what everyone has mentioned. I do see the importance and the benefits of having these professional development trainees for our board members, whether that be us or in the future. Would like to see also, what's out there, what are other districts doing, but also knowing that, we are different. We are a destination district, so that might look different for us. But yeah, definitely want to be careful with our funds of the public. That's what it belongs to, and we want to make sure that we're using it to grow this district overall. So I'm look forward to that conversation we have in the future.
All right, thank you.
All righty. If there's no other questions or comments, we'll be moving on to B8, which is the public hearing and approval of resolution number 2122-25, increasing school facility fees for inflation accordance with determination of State Allocation Board at its February 23rd, 2022 meeting. And this is Mr. Surley.
Thank you,
And I will
President.
go, sorry.
Sorry. Thank you, President Lopez. Government Code Section 66016A requires the board to hold a public hearing concerning the district's proposed Level 1 Developer Fee Justification Report. We have Senior Director of Planning and Facilities, Dwayne Walterstorff, here to speak to the board during the public hearing.
And at this moment, I will go ahead and close the regular open board meeting. And now I'll reconvene as a public hearing on the agenda item and hand it over to Mr. Walterstorff.
Good evening.
I think it's on. Yeah, just don't be shy. Let's go.
Good evening, President Lopez, trustees, Dr. Noguchi, and cabinet. Dwayne Walther, Senior Director of Planning and Facilities. Testing. There we go. You want me to start over or continue? Every even year, the State Allocation Board meets to talk about the inflation factors that affect construction over the past 2 years. So, and they meet early in the year. So this past February 23rd, they met and they approved a 17% increase in construction. Just a little side note, if they would have waited and probably met in April, they probably would have decided on a 30% increase because March to March, construction increased 30%. But we're left with the 17. So the new residential school fee is $4.79 a square foot for residential, and the commercial is 78 cents per square foot. The board is required to hold at least one public meeting to allow oral and written presentation like we are doing here tonight. This meeting was duly advertised as required by law. And so following this public hearing, I'm asking the board to approve the study that has been done by our consultant capital public finance group, and approve these increases in school fees so that we can continue forward with providing excellent facilities for our students to learn in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions or comments from our board members? I see Trustee Mejia. Oh, sorry. We'll go out to the public first. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, bring it back to the board, and we'll start with Trustee Mejia. Close it. Okay. So I will first close the public hearing. No? Oh, that's right. Okay. Sorry. I will close the public hearing and reconvene us as the regular open board meeting. And now, is there any questions?
I just have a question. Why there's such a big difference between commercial and residential? It was just, I'm curious. There's no further.
Excellent question. Obviously, residential does bring the students to. So when we're looking at a house, you know, there's going to be certain number of students that are going to come from each house to be part of the school system. From a commercial standpoint, students can also come because, for instance, somebody could be living outside of our community but chooses because they work here that they want their kids to attend our schools where they're working, where they're, you know, they're 8 to 5 and that type of thing. So, but that's much smaller. So that's why, you know, especially when you're looking at a big warehouse, there's a lot, you know, less people there, a lot less students that might be generated. So there's the difference in the price.
I was just curious because their profit, they make a lot more. I was just under the, when I saw them, I'm like, oh, that's a big difference. Anyways, it was just mostly like a comment. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
I'm just going to move approval when you're
Okay.
ready.
I'm looking for a motion to approve the public hearing and the resolution, approval of the resolution number 21-2225, increasing school facility fees for inflation in accordance with the determination of State Allocation Board at its February 23rd, 2022 meeting.
I move approval. Oh, sorry.
Motion by Trustee Marks, seconded by Trustee Mejia. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. And this takes us to our final item of tonight, which is the former C7, now B9, approval of authorization to award bid number 22-4775, paving and slurry package number 2, Elsland Elementary, Garrison Elementary, and Roosevelt Junior High School. And this is Mr. Surley.
Well, we have completed the post-bid interview with Cal Coating Asphalt based on legal review and architectural review. We are prepared to deem them a responsible bidder for the Mesto Slurry Project, bid package 2, number 22-4775. So that's pending any questions or comments from the board.
Is there any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, and is there any questions from our board members? Trustee Irvin.
Yes, after speaking to Mr. Jimenez of the Cal Code of the executive director of.
He's with Foundation for Fair Contracting.
Yeah, for fair contracting, Foundation for Fair Contracting. And so, being that they're out of compliance in several areas, do that still warrant awarding the contract, even though they're not in compliance with some of the state requirements? And I don't know if they're legal requirements or not.
Yeah, we, again, after legal review, there's no indication that they're out of compliance with any of our bid documents. Just to note, Foundation for Fair Contracting is not a bidder.
Right.
So they can't submit a bid protest on the project. But we did follow up, and we are comfortable with going forward and awarding this project.
So there's no expectation that there's going to be a bunch of change orders down the road because I see that we have an estimate of $501,500,000, and their bid is like $200,000. So I just didn't, because they mentioned, like I said, I spent some time on the phone, that this was a practice sometimes to underbid and then get the bid, and then when the job starts, start to submit change orders in order to increase the amount of the bid. And another thing they made mention of is prevailing wages. Are they paying prevailing wages on the project as well?
Yes, they are. They responded to that. There was a question about apprenticeship. Our language doesn't require local workforce preferences. So that was contrary statement to what FFC said. And they do not participate in any apprenticeship program. They do not, and it wasn't even stated in our bid document.
Okay, so that's not a requirement statewide?
No.
Because I see from the California Apprenticeship Council that they're saying they haven't paid for the past 4 years.
Because they don't participate.
Because they don't participate. So it's optional.
Well, that's based on our legal review.
Right.
Of it.
And I don't know, maybe in the future, can we make this a option on our contracts? Because when they pay into apprenticeships, that helps promote education, because as I got it from the council, is that those funds go to train the new journeymen and journeywomen in the trades, for the future. And so, they have a high participation rate statewide, they say, of companies that participate. And so being that we're an educational institution, if we can, encourage contractors to be a part of this, because some of our students may end up as apprentice, in some of these apprenticeship training programs to learn some of these trades, to be able to perform this type of work with prevailing wages. So.
Thank you for that. They are a small, non-union shop, so it depends on the size of the company if that program you're referring to is beneficial or not. So locally, these smaller slurry contractors, a lot of them are non-union, and there's nothing to stop them from bidding our projects as long as they adhere to the Department of Industrial Relations labor compliance rules. So that's a floating item really as far as the apprenticeship program goes, depending on which kind of firm we're talking about.
Thank you.
And we did do work with them in 2018 and had no issues, no legal or contractual issues. They did 6 school sites for us in 2018.
Was there any change orders on those?
I don't recall if there was any change orders, but they completed the project under budget and on time with no contractual issues. And we also, like Mr. Zerly said, we have conducted a post-bid interview with them and went through their numbers with them, and there's no reason at this point to be alarmed.
Thank you, Roger. Trustee Maestas?
Yeah, I just had a real quick question. Is this company local?
Yes, they're in Turlock.
Thanks.
So they do bring on local labor.
Thank you very much. Is there any other questions or comments from board members? Seeing none, can I hear a motion to approve the authorization to award bid number 224775 for paving and slurry package number 2, Elson Elementary, Garrison Elementary, and Roosevelt Junior High School? Motion by Vice President Brown, seconded by Trustee Mejia. All those, All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And then this brings us to our closing. Do I hear a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting? Student Representative Banaka in her final motion. Motions to adjourn. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Trustee West. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned. We'll see everyone next meeting, June 6th at 6 p.m.